What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy, Doc Holliday. And we are back again with another HBCU OverDrive live show, aka Saturday Night Live with Doc and SheLovesThee. Make sure, if you haven't done it by now, make sure that you like the stream. Make sure that you comment and share it with people. Also, make sure that you subscribe, become an exclusive member. Hit the join button for only $4.99, y'all. $4.99. What's going on, Mr. David Williams? What's up? What's going on? So, uh, Lauderdale, what's going on? What's good? See if my co-host is coming on here. Uh-oh. Hey,
Can you hear me?
oh, we can hear you.
I'm trying on my phone today. So I have my phone.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we here. So I am about to pull up the new overlay. As y'all see, as you see, we do have a new overlay for the show. The background. Let me see if I can do with the as far as where the background goes. But look, check us out. Check us out. Okay. Look like we all got big time now. They got big time now. They got big for everybody now. But other than that, how was the weekend? How's the weekend going?
Good. It's my son's weekend with his dad, so I've been just chilling. Watching basketball. I watched basketball. Both games. Of course. The FAMU versus Jackson State.
And of course, somebody was about to run my blood pressure up just even looking at the game. Just hearing it. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first off, as y'all know how we do, we are going to go around the SWAC and the MEAC. So we're gonna start with the MEAC first, and we're gonna work our way to the SWAC. So let me get this computer. There we go. Oh, gotta put the ticker in there. So, gotta make sure we have the ticker. But around the SWAC and the MEAC we go. And we're gonna start in the MEAC. We're gonna start on the MEAC women's side. As y'all know, I do everything from the phone. I do everything from the phone. Let's see what we got. Oh, you got it already for me.
Oh no, don't bring that one back. That's just so I can share the stuff.
Oh, well, my bad.
Right. I'm gonna pull up the what is it? You said MEAC?
Yeah, we're gonna go to the MEAC first.
All right.
MEAC, everybody played today. For the women, everybody played today.
Okay, so I shared the screen, or I put up the women's standing.
The women's standards.
Yeah.
Right. As always, there we go. So for the women's standards, we still have. Got the other stuff going on over here. I'm gonna take this layoff.
You might have to take that overlay off.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off. But still, we still. As far as the women's standings go, we got Morgan State. Ooh, 8-0 in conference, y'all. 8-0 in conference, followed by Norfolk and Howard Tyler, second place. Um, you could say third or fourth place. You got North Carolina Central at 4-4. Coppin State is coming in at 2-5. Delaware State and South Carolina State coming in at 2-6, and Maryland Eastern Shore is at 1-6. This is just all conference. Overall, Norfolk State women has the better overall record, followed by Morgan State. You have Howard with a 10-11 record, North Carolina Central 10-13, 5-17 for Coppin State, 4-15 for Delaware State. South Carolina State is at 3-20, and more Eastern Shore is at 5-16. So really, South Carolina State overall has the worst overall record within within these schools, these teams right here. But for tonight, Morgan State does come out with a victory against North Carolina Central, 68-63. Norfolk State eats out. I don't know how they did it, but they barely get the win against Maryland Eastern Shore, 53-51. Howard rolls over Delaware State by 15, 57-42. And South Carolina State goes and beats Coppin 61-50. So, like I said, with Morgan State girls, women, and Norfolk State women, I think they're going to be the two teams that's actually going to meet in the conference final. But don't get me wrong. Don't get it wrong. Let's not get it twisted. Howard is going to be nipping at the bud also. In fact, Morgan State is on an 8-game winning streak, and followed by Howard with a 4-game winning streak. So it's not like these girls is not playing. They is not playing around, y'all. They is not playing around. But it, like I said, it's going to go. I think it's going to come down between Morgan State and Norfolk State. Trying to see when they do play again. Okay, I'm trying to see when they actually play each other. So they actually play each other next Saturday in Norfolk. That Morgan State and Norfolk State, they actually play Saturday. So that's going to be at the top to play who's going to be sitting at the top of the conference. That is what I see. That's how I see it. 15-6 and an 18-5 record. So these girls are hooping. I don't see anything that's a drop off with it. It just come down to how will they be seated for the conference tournament? Who will actually finish off the conference?
So how many get to go to the tournament? Is it 6 or 8? How many?
Well, all of them are qualified. Well, all of them qualify for the tournament because it's only 8 teams.
Okay. What about for the SWAC? It's different though, right? They're only taking 8, right?
The SWAC is different. No, I think they take 12 because all teams in the conference tournament they go. It's just that probably the top 2 teams will have a bye week. I'm not a bye week, but a first round bye.
The first round bye.
Yeah, I'm thinking about football. Let you know I'm ready for football to come back around. But yeah, when it comes down to this, like Norfolk and Morgan is going to be neck and neck with each other.
I
So
thought it was top 8. Yeah, Lawrence said that it's top 8.
Top
Yeah, I
8.
remember they were talking about on the they were talking about FAMU getting in and what they would have to do to get in.
A
But then,
miracle. A miracle.
oh my goodness.
Oh, okay. So now we're gonna go to the SWAC. I mean, not SWAC, but the MEAC men.
Oh, let me pull up the MEAC men
All right.
basketball standings. There you go.
All right. So we're gonna start this off right here. So we got Howard right now. The defeats Delaware State 86-85 in overtime.
Hmm.
I got a echo. Oh, probably my phone. My bad. South Carolina State defeats Coppin by 10, 94-84. Norfolk State beats Maryland Eastern Shore 76-73, and North Carolina Central beats Morgan State 83-63 by 20. Oh my goodness! And so for in the standings for the MEAC, you got Howard still sitting at number 1 in the conference. This is just conference play, y'all, at 7-1. Tied for second place is Norfolk and Eastern Shore at 6-2. Tied for third place is North Carolina Central and Morgan State at 4-4. Delaware State comes in at 3-5. And pushing in last is Coppin State and South Carolina State at 1-7. So overall, you have Norfolk still leading overall 17 with a 17-7 record. You followed by Howard with a 15-10 record. Which Howard, I'm gonna tell you just like this: Howard is on a 7-game winning streak, y'all. Whatever Coach Blakeney is doing up in DC, he needs to continue to do it. He needs to continue to do it. Norfolk is also on a 4-game winning streak, so that's a good thing right there. Also, Eastern Shore is 14-9. Central is 11-11. Morgan State is 12-12. Delaware State 5-18. Coppin State 6-19, and South Carolina State coming in at last at 4-20. I'm gonna say it just like this, y'all. For Coppin State, because they got too much stuff going on with them, I think Juan Dixon is out of there.
You talking about the text message debacle
Yeah, I'm talking
or
about the
or
catfish.
the
It was the
I don't know what it
catfish.
was.
It was the catfish debacle. Yeah, I think he's
I'm
out
trying to
there.
figure out why he wasn't fired immediately, but okay.
I don't know, but it is the game is to be sold and not to be told. But we don't know. Um, we won't know until they say something about it. Oop. All right. So now we're about to go into the. We're about to go around
I'm going to the SWAC. Oh,
the SWAC, y'all.
SWAC, SWAC. Who is SWAC?
Every,
Who is
You're
SWAC?
going around the SWAC. So we're about to start with the women's. And of course, we can't start off with, but it's another victory for Jackson State University.
Round of applause on that. Round of applause.
The women's team with a 15-point victory, 68-53. Um, Look, Talon Bowler, she came in, dropped 19 points on their head tonight. Deja Water with 9 rebounds, and Kishana Lucky with 6 assists. So overall, I want to see what Angel Jackson only had 4 points tonight, but she also had 4 rebounds. And let me
She
see.
had a couple blocks.
She had 3 blocks. She had 3
Yeah.
blocks tonight. She had 3 blocks. Um, Also, you have Daphne White with 9 points and 8 rebounds.
She missed a couple free throws.
Yeah.
So
Gerard Covington coming
yeah.
in with 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Of course, Talon Bowler, like you said, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. 2 steals. Liz Martino, she ain't got to score, but I think her defensive presence is a must on the floor.
As far as steals and
Still,
pressure,
yeah, the defense,
yeah, she had an off day, but luckily, like every day is not going to be your day.
yeah,
Um, some days you're going to do better than others. Telon Bowler, she's pretty consistent as far as like her play and stuff. She's consistent. She's
right.
consistently good. Today was one of her days where she was
Where she was
knocking
off,
them down. Um, I know that they need to make adjustments because they are getting ready to play Bethune. Bethune Cookman is a better team, and of course, we're going to expect for them to play hard at home. But it was good to see the girls' team, and we usually see like I was expecting them to have actually a wider lead just because Florida A&M, and that's for both the men and the women's team.
hmm
Florida A&M is like ranked second to last in our conference.
yeah,
So I was expecting for a really big blowout, but of course, Florida A&M was trying to play pretty hard at home. So the
and with
great win
like,
on both sides.
and if you watch them, they really do play hard at home. They play hard anywhere they go, but I think the depth on the bench bites them in the butt all the time because they don't have capable starters. Like she doesn't have a certain rotation of players that she brings in and brings out. So you see most of her starters by the time in the second half, maybe in the third quarter, middle of the third quarter, you see them start getting gassed out.
Hmm.
And if it's a team like Jackson or like uh A&M or even Bethune, like we said with Bethune, even at Bama State or Prairie View, Southern, if they can run up and down the court, they'll gas this team out. They can gas them out regardless.
Um, I'll, it's to note we do not have Maya Crump currently. So
Okay.
depth is so important, especially that's one of Jackson State's big biggest threats is the fact that they have depth.
Mm-hmm.
And Diamond just said that Crump is going to be out for the remainder of the season.
Mm.
So she won't be returning. I did notice today that they played Daphne White and Angel Jackson together as part of the starting five,
Yeah.
and someone notated that they're getting ready for March play. So I was like, they usually sit one and bring in the other, or they never usually play both of them at the same time. So that was interesting to see both of them playing. Maybe that's why they weren't able to make those adjustments. Or we see that their numbers are lower because if they're both playing at the same time, um, that could probably account for it.
That is true. That is true. So there's one thing about this team right here. 8-game winning streak, y'all. 8-game winning streak. We lost that one game. I'm trying to figure out who we lost to because that's how long ago we lost that game right there.
Who, the women?
Yeah,
We lost to Prairie View,
lost to Prairie View.
and they're
That's
getting
why I
they're
said
coming
that's
out.
why
They
I
have
said
to
it
come
was so
out
long
to
that
us.
I trying to figure out who we lost to. It's been so long.
Ooh, we have an alert right now. Alabama A&M is playing Valley right
Hmm.
now, and they're in overtime, and they're tied right now with 45 seconds left.
Oh snap!
I wonder, is that on HBCU Go today,
It might be on HBCU though.
or is it on YouTube? It's in Itty Bitty, Mississippi.
If it's in it'll be no sure it's on YouTube. Mm, I can see from right here.
I don't see it on their live. Maybe I went to the wrong one.
But
They
yeah,
are. It's down to the wire. And you know, this will be a really big win for Valley.
oh yeah, it would. That's the reason why I said don't count Valley out, even though the record doesn't look as great as what it is. Still, you still don't count them out because of the simple fact that uh, Valley is one of those teams. They they either play up or play down to their competition.
Who plays down? Valley?
Valley, yeah,
They play up or play down, but they're at the bottom, so they'll always be playing. Well, for this particular season, they're always going to be playing up, correct?
correct.
Come on, Valley, you can't be missing these free throws. That's
That's
this
why
is
they
that's a game changer right there.
that's why they call them free throws.
Oh my gosh, he
Um,
missed both of them. When you look back, three free throws in those last, like in the last minute and a half of the game, that's what makes or breaks the whole game, and
that's true.
not fouling. He stepped out. Come on, Valley, charge.
Yes, Miss Diamond, we should not have lost that game
Woo!
right there. I knew we should not have lost that game, but it is what it was. So
I can't believe we don't need to talk about that.
yeah, we gonna get the thing is we gonna get our lick back anyway.
Come on, for the win, for the win. Oh, oh no!
Wow,
Did
they
he get
about
a
to throw
foul? Did he
trouble.
get a foul?
Nah, he ain't get fouled.
What the hell? Double overtime.
Double overtime, y'all.
Man, he should have got a foul. He's supposed to draw the flat foul, like run into him, not hard, but run up to him.
Double overtime.
Dang, you that he had a chance to put that whole game away. See,
He really did. He really did.
all right. Well, we'll check back in again.
We'll
We'll
check
check
that.
back in again on them in a few. We're going back to the SWAC standings.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know what, David? I remember when I was on campus, I think I went into the NWC one time, my whole time at Jackson. And I was in awe when I went inside of too much history. So we still on the women's, y'all. 15-point win against FAMU, 68-53. Alabama State comes out with the 11-point win against Arkansas Pine Bluff, 71-60. Bethune Cookman downs Alcorn, 68-60. Grambling defeats Texas Southern, 63-57. Southern with the big win against Prairie View, 69-17. And Alabama A&M women defeats Valley, 67-50.
Did Bethune Cookman win?
Bethune did win against Alcorn.
Swacking the fool asked did Bethune Cookman win?
Mm. Uh. So as you see the standings, as y'all see the standings right now, Jackson State sits at 11-1 in conference. 11-1 in conference. Followed by Alabama A&M and Bethune Cookman at 9-3. Alabama State sits at fourth place with an 8-4 record. Tied for fifth would be Prairie View and Southern at 7-5. Pine Bluff with a 6-6 record. Grambling with the 5-6. Alcorn. Moving down some.
Oh, okay, let me get the all corn.
Alcorn with a 5-7 record in conference play. FAMU 3-9 in conference. Texas Southern 1-10, and Mississippi Valley is coming up in last at
Oh
4
my
12.
gosh, that is so terrible. 0 and
So
12. Sheesh. I would not want. You don't want to be. You do not want to be on that team.
hey,
Black and a Fool said his women need some help. They need some
bro,
milk.
they need some milk. They need some milk.
You
You
know
might,
what?
we might well go on and
I
bring
just
him on the show
laugh
too,
because
man. Shoot, cause
when
he owe me.
Jackson State lost to Prairie View, I was sick for about 4 days.
I couldn't be sick for 4 days.
Black and the Fool. He said they
I was
need
just
a
sick for
gallon
one
of
day,
milk.
and it said shit. Let's get this shit rolling. Keep this shit rolling.
Okay, are we going to the men's side?
Yeah, we're going to the men's side.
Uh-oh.
He said they
Uh-oh.
need a gallon of milk.
Lord. Not a gallon.
A gallon.
Let's go ahead and get these men. Ooh. What is Alcorn doing?
Uh,
No wonder SWAC and the Fool is over here beating his chest.
hey, come on. Hey, I'm about to put the link in the chat. Come on the show, man.
Yeah, he needs to go ahead and pop your shit about Alcorn State and their 10-2 conference play.
Oh,
Okay,
come on. You got your shirt ready? Come on then, bro. We got it. We got you.
Didn't have time.
You owe me a bit either
That
way.
makes a difference. That definitely makes a big difference. The inability to recruit, that's crucial. So we're gonna give her some more time to develop.
We'll give her a chance. We'll give her a chance.
Yeah, we're gonna give her. She needs some time to develop.
Well, let's see. Well, we already know one game is at overtime. There's 2 overtimes now. We got these Negroes ran my blood pressure up this earlier today. And we talked about Jackson State and FAMU.
Didn't we beat Alcorn at home?
We
I
did.
know SWAC and the Fool was sick when that happened, boy.
We did. We did.
I know he was sick.
You might well go. Yeah, come on and go on the
So
show,
did they
man.
beat Southern? Did Alcorn beat Southern?
I
Or
don't know yet. I have to see. Now,
look at Jackson State. We're still in 4.
yeah, you're still in 4, but
But we beat Alcorn.
God dog it, man. They can run my blood pressure up. Just watching that game. Just listen to the game. Can run your blood pressure up. So
Yeah, it's not if you are a Jackson State fan of the basketball team, they do this thing where they are up 15 to 20 points for the first half, and going into the locker room, I don't know what it is. Somebody mentioned that they don't switch out their starters enough as they should to give them that break.
yeah.
They don't have Mansell is their main big dude in the back. They don't have another one to match it. So Jackson State is 7-5 in conference play right now.
8-17 overall.
So Diamond thinks that it's because of the coaching. Coach Mo Williams is not on top of the coaching. You have to switch up your starters. You can't play them all game because they get tired out.
Yeah, but he also got to recruit too.
Yeah, but he needs some big men up at the back. He doesn't have enough.
Yeah.
Menzel, now mind you, versus FAMU, they didn't have an answer for him, but it literally took the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game for them to realize, stop trying to shoot. The next person that shoots a 3, they need to go do suicide. For every 3-point 3-pointer, you need to do 5 suicides. Because why are you shooting a three? FAMU is getting the threes, and you're trying to go down there and flex, but you don't have the range.
You don't have a shooters. Shoot
Right.
mid range. Shoot mid range.
You don't have the answers, Sway. Like you don't have the answers. Give the ball to Mansell.
Yeah, he played 35 minutes, y'all. Had 24 points and 7 rebounds, 2 assists. He
Tyron, my
also
man,
had
don't you
one
gotta play
block.
Bethune?
So it's to me, to, it, he don't have he doesn't have the depth on the bench, and he got to recruit. Yeah, we played a tremendous out of conference record. I mean, out of conference schedule, but
I
but
definitely agree about the mid range shooting. Like there's some shots that they miss that it's just like go do five suicides because how did you miss that layup? Go do five suicides because how did you miss that jumper right there? That jump fade. There was barely anybody even contesting that shot. How did you miss it?
so I'm gonna read off the non conference. So the early non conference games we played. So we played Abilene Christian. We lost to them by 9, 65-56. We go up to Tulsa. We lose to them by 6, 85-79. We lose by 3 to Little Rock, 94-91. We go up to Michigan to Ann Arbor to play against Jawan
Why are
Howard and
your
his
ratings
crew.
abysmal? These stats are abysmal.
Jawan Howard and his crew. So the first 4 games we stayed competitive. And then when we go to Indiana, we get blown out the water. And then we go to Miami, Ohio. They beat us by 17. First 4 games was the first 4 games for Jackson State. We were competitive in the one game we should have won. Like I said, was the Little Rock game, and that was for the Hoosier Tip Off Classic. So we should have won that game. We could have beaten Michigan, and all the other games we have been in, we have been close. Now, this is reason why I say when it comes down to it, depth on the bench is a must.
But if we're this close with Power Five, like what happened, Mo? What is going on? Like your coaching from like I understand that schools make adjustments after the half, but this is
Mhm.
like the FAMU is the second worst team of the SWAC.
Right.
There's no way that they should have been able to come back like that. It's not like they know your number. There, that's how abysmal they are. So the fact that they were able to tie and at one point lead by 1 or 2 points, absolutely unacceptable. And on top of that, if that's the second worst team, what do you think these other teams are going to do?
They
They're
about
going to beat you because they're going to capitalize on your mistakes, on the missed rebounds. There was one possession where they had four. It was the very beginning of the second half. Four offensive rebounds and they could not score. That's insane. How do
so
you rebound that you have 5 attempts right underneath the basket and you're not able to convert it to points? That's insane. Like, coach, coach, coach.
so I
You
will
couldn't
say this
even
though.
draw. You couldn't even draw a foul. Come on now. That's bad.
So I will say this though. In the off season, Mo is going. He's gonna have to hit Jackson. He's gonna have to hit Jackson hard, y'all. But I'm just saying that from
Mr. Ford said that he needs to be hit in Africa.
no, because you want to start off with you got to start off with your home. Because if you don't lock up your home, then you got Ole Miss and Mississippi State and
Do
Southern.
you know of anybody who's 6'9" at Callaway or at
It could
Jim
be some
Hill?
kids that's 6'9" at Callaway or Murrah or Provine.
Cool. What's their names? We should know them by now.
I want to know. I got to check and see.
See, so if you don't know, I mean, look, I see Isaiah Spencer and Isaiah Kendall and Malachi Wideman. Not saying, I'm just saying, like, we know some ballers. They play football, but if you look, you see that they are some ballers and they can play really well for basketball as well.
Yeah.
But like, where is the recruits at? Coach Mo needs to do really good in this tournament, even if they don't win. Being competitive in this tournament is, you have to be
Well,
competitive in order to be able to recruit.
well, we can, you can, but that, like I said, you want to get kids in Jackson first before you
Why do you want to go to Jackson? Do you
because
know where Mansell is from?
no because
Mansell is from California. Did you
no
know that?
because the reason why the reason why I say this, yeah, the reason why I say this is the fact that first of all, he's from Jackson. He went
Who
to
is?
Murrah. Mo Mo Williams from Jackson with the Murrah High School. Uh, so he got to have that type of relationship. It's just like in football, right? I'm gonna say it in general. In in general, it's just like in football.
Where is this person at? Where is David McDaniel at? He's 6'9". Where he at? Let me show you. I don't know. I just, where are these? Because I only see Mansell. That's the only one that I saw. Trace Young, he got injured, right?
Yes,
6'9", Mr. Mansell. He's from Los Angeles, California, and he is by far looking like the best player on the team right now.
right. But
Where's David McDaniel at? He's 6'9". Where's
I don't. But see, that's the thing. But that's the thing, though, too.
where's
It's
Tracy?
also with the. It's also how you handle your. It's also how you handle your rotation. If you don't have a good, if you can't handle your rotation correctly, then you're going to be in those type of games like where we saw where you could get a 15 to 20 point lead, and then it just evaporates like that within 3 to 4 minutes of a game. Like because the game is because basketball, college basketball is a game of spurts. Like when you get on, well, I take not spurts but runs. When you get on on runs in basketball, it is hard. It is hard to try to contain the other team. Like
I mean, but my thing is, I've never seen this person. I've never seen Trayon Johnson play. I've never seen a 6'11" dude get on the field. Maybe you know what? I did kind of stop watching after a while men's basketball just because I can't take the winning or losing by one or down to the wire or overtime's up. I can't take all that.
but you know, what I'm saying is like too, you have to like for him, he has to lock down Jackson. Got to get your talent in from home, and then you go out everywhere else because
But
you're
you
only gonna
can't
have a
even
certain
tell
amount of
me a
spots.
top recruit right now that's coming out of Jim Hill or Callaway or those local
But
schools.
he's probably doing it right now. He's probably doing well. He's not doing it now, but he'll probably do it in the. He should
He
be
needs to
doing.
be doing it like somebody said during football season. Bring him to a football game and then
Yeah,
take him to go see the facilities and take him. I don't know though.
but
Mo
yeah,
signed players from Jackson last year.
but see, Pacifica. Yeah, you're right. Recruiting great local talent, bring the fans to the games. It not just also bring fans to the games. It energizes your fan base. It
Do
actually
you see
energizes your
him
fan
from?
base, but also it creates somewhat of a winning attitude when you bring kids that actually know how to play the game, wants to learn how to play the game, and
These two
they
are
can win.
from Mississippi. There's Avon Johnson. He's from Murrah. Jelani Bell, Ridgeland High School. Um, there we go. Kevion Hunt is from Callaway.
Hmm.
Colty Young is from Starksville, Mississippi. Ken Evans Jr. is from Forest Hill.
which is down
Zeke
the road, down the street.
Zeke Cook is from Starkville. So I mean, the majority of the people. This person, Jamarcus Jones, Sardis, Mississippi, North Panola High School. Jamie Mitchell from Forest Hill. So now that we see that he did get talent from Jackson,
He's got to
you're
continue to
gonna need to
get it
reach
though,
out a little
and
bit
then
more.
he got to continue to get it, but also he got to make sure that he got to win too.
Let's
Got
see what this. Uh, let's see what they looking like. Oh Lord, Valley's losing by 3 with 30 seconds left.
to.
66-63. Oh no, there's a minute and 25 left.
Oh, hold on now. We done got Mr. Ford.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh yeah, y'all making some good points there. Both of you are right on several things there. I agree with both of you. Mr. Mona, both of you are right as far as recruiting. It's recruiting first and then coaching. It's personnel always. Anytime it's college athletics, it's always personnel. That means recruiting is first. But one thing is, the SWAC does have to do a better job of coaching us. And the things you were describing, Mr. Moon, that's also Southern's problem. They don't have big people. They got a bunch of guards, they got forwards, but they don't have them dominant centers. If I think his name, what's coach's name at Southern?
Sean Woods.
Yeah, Sean would be top 50 if he had some big men. He don't have the dominant big men, but he's got some guard play. Now, I personally think Jackson State's biggest problem is guard play. Yeah.
It is. It ain't
They
the
keep
inside,
saying that, but we also need more than one Mansell. There's no way that he's playing for 30. How many minutes? 35 minutes?
37.
30? That's ridiculous. There's no way you should. I mean,
It's 40 minutes in a college basketball game.
he played the whole game, and
He
guess
played
what?
the whole game.
They needed him the whole game, and guess what? FAMU is second to last in rankings. So can
And
you
you
imagine
asking
if they're
Mr.
going
Mona,
against Grambling or Southern?
you ask where the 6'9s, they're on the transfer portal. If you're looking for 6'9s, you need to go to the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
We need about two of them.
Yeah, you do.
Jackson State, which Angel, I think Angel's. I don't know if she has one more year. Like on the women's side, we have Angel Jackson and Daphne White. I call them the twin.
Well, you got the best coach in Black college women's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make sure we know that. And I
And
hope
you'll see
they
she
paying her.
rotates.
Huh?
She rotates. And
Yeah, that lady's got a vision and a plan. Listen, y'all are blessed to have Miss Tamika Reed. You really are. She has a vision. She has a plan.
Let's see. Let's continue this. Alabama State beats Arkansas Pine Bluff by 374-71.
Now, doesn't Pine Bluff have a lot of players from the transfer portal?
They do. On the women's side and men's side, too.
Yes, I know on the men's side. Because that's getting to be a hole up there. Huh?
Oh, God. Sorry. I'm watching the Valley game. Y'all not watching it?
I'm looking at it.
35 seconds left, 68-66.
Alcorn with the victory over Bethune 76-74. Grambling beats up on Texas Southern tonight. The men 65-46.
That's another team with guard problems because he's got too much talent to be getting beat up like that.
Yep.
They got some players out there at Texas Southern, but he don't have the guards.
And
a lot of people understand you ain't winning no championship without guard. You got to have absolute great guard play.
Yep. And Southern with the convincing win, 14-point win over Prairie View, 79-65.
Was that televised today?
I didn't even see if it was televised.
Oh, okay. Who was on HBCU Go today?
I don't even know who was on.
Alabama State.
Alabama State. Okay.
All right, man.
Listen, I am hoping that Jackson State, because there's a possibility you could be very competitive in the tournament,
On the
depending
men's side or the women's side?
on the women's side. We're obviously going to win the tournament.
Oh yeah,
you
women's side
probably
will.
yeah.
Women's side
We're
will be
talking about
competitive.
men's side that if they work out the kinks, that they could possibly be, depending on where they stand, they could be competitive.
That is true.
That Grambling game was really close that they lost, right?
Yes, they did.
So there's a possibility that
No, the Grambling. Oh, you talking about in the women's on the women's side?
men's side, on the
Men's
men's
side.
side.
Oh, no, that was they destroyed Texas Southern by 19.
No, I'm talking about Grambling versus Jackson State. It was a competitive game.
Oh yes, it was. It was.
So Grambling is currently ranked second, along with Southern. Oh, they're tied. So we are in third place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of it's still a lot of parity. And like I said, this is just the second swing of the conference schedule. So they're playing the next the next 10 games for conference. Basically to see you're playing for seeding now in the conference tournament.
Right.
That's all. That's all it is. You're playing for seeding in the tournament in the conference tournament, and then you win the conference tournament. Sure, more likely not because of your record. I mean, more likely it's going to be because of the record. I hate when they do this. They're going to make them a 16 seed, and you have to play in the play. You have to play the play-in game. So I wouldn't. I don't really like that. I don't appreciate that. But
All right. What else do we have next?
all right. So next on the list today, next on the docket today is the NFL Hall of Fame finalists. And Mr.
Uh-oh.
Ford, you're gonna like this one. He should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. And that's Ken Riley, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals, and of course from Florida A&M University. Now he did start off as a quarterback at FAMU, and when he got to the Cincinnati Bengals, they moved him over to cornerback. And not only did they move him over to cornerback, he was a damn good one. He was a damn good cornerback. Mr. Ford, you still on here? Uh-oh. I think he got that for a second.
Class of 2023.
Yeah. So also making the list for Hall of Fame consideration is I think I've seen on there Zach Thomas, linebacker that came from
Texas Tech, wasn't it?
Texas Tech, Pride of Pampa.
Yeah, didn't his sister marry
Jason Taylor?
Jason Taylor. Where's Jason now?
Jason Taylor is a defensive coordinator for St. Thomas Aquinas.
Oh yeah, that's a big time high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, when I was in the third grade, I went to see Florida A&M. My scoutmaster took us. Ken Riley was the quarterback. That was 1968. He was the quarterback.
Yeah, scoutmaster using the Boy Scouts, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, they took us to see Florida State at that time. If you came to Florida A&M's game in uniform, either they would let you in free or you'd have to pay. This is the days of Jake Gaither. You'd play $1 or $2. Florida State would do the same thing. I saw the first black player in the history of Florida State. His name was Eddie McMillan. That was 1969. He was the fastest man on the team, but he was the first black player to play for Florida State. And I'm trying to think, the coach left and went. He became the coach of the Houston Oilers. I
Okay.
can't remember his name. Yeah.
So we got, like I said, Zach Thomas, DeMarcus Ware,
Yeah, that's your boy.
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yes, sir. He going in as a Cowboy, not a Denver Bronco. He's going in as a Cowboy.
Was he Troy State or where was he? Where was his
Troy.
college?
Yeah, he's from Troy.
Troy State. That's right. I remember him.
You got Rondé Barber.
Oh, I remember him. He was
Darrell
Virginia.
Rivas Island.
Darrell Rivas. That's Pitt, isn't it? Pitt Panther.
Yes, sir.
He
Joe
was
Thomas.
Yeah, Joe Thomas was a Wisconsin Badger.
Yep. And then you got Don Coryell, who should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago.
Listen, baby, we can talk all that's Air Coryell, baby. See, I remember him when he was at San Diego State. Now you know who used to go and stay with him, right? You know
Archie Cooley.
That's right. Cooley would go and stay with him. They would the summer that before Jerry Rice's senior year, Cooley spent the whole summer almost in San Diego with Don Coryell. They called it Air Coryell.
Chuck Howley.
That's Cowboy. He was a Cowboy. Yeah. I remember Chuck.
Joe Klecko.
Joe was Temple. He was a New York Jets. He played with Mark Gastineau.
Yeah, and then Ken Riley. Of course, we just said that Ken Riley from Cincinnati Bengals, who is like second in interceptions with 65.
This is long overdue. This should have been done 10 years ago.
Thank you.
This is long. Listen, them people at Prairie View, I keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying it. Y'all got to go and let them folk at NFL know they got to let Otis Taylor in. It don't make no sense for Otis Taylor not to be. Just like Jackson State got to go and tell them people, Roger Goodell, y'all had him at the game. You should have told him Harold Jackson, Jimmy Smith should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
We don't want no mess. Don't come here talking about you got a nephew and all that. Let's talk business.
So, what about Devin Hester?
Oh, he was
Devin Hester should have been
in college.
He should have been first ballot just because.
Did he make it?
No, he didn't make it.
Because he played in Atlanta for a while. He was electrifying.
What did he do to?
He was a punt and kickoff returner. He played.
I know that, but why do they keep saying that he's getting like? What did he actually do to the NFL, or what did he do to these?
Oh, he was. Listen, he was one of the biggest playmakers in the league from the special teams point of view.
Yep.
Wherever he went, that dude made a difference. He came to Atlanta.
I'm talking about what do they have against him? What are they?
They don't have anything against Devin Hester because he never got in trouble like that.
No,
he never got in trouble. It was to me. It was just that the way that they was doing this, like they've been picking the finalists. They picked from a certain era that these players played in, like okay, so you got Ken Riley. Ken Riley was, like I said, we've been like Mr. Ford said, Ken Riley is long overdue to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
If you, I'm gonna say it just like this, Timona. You are number 2 or number 3 in interceptions as a cornerback, or probably number 1 as a cornerback with 65. So from the time he was drafted from 1969 to 1983, he spent his whole entire career with one team, and that is the
Cincinnati
Bengals.
Bengals.
So he played under played under Papa Brown.
Yeah.
Also
Paul Brown.
Paul Brown, who also founded the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and the other guy that loved him was Homer. Was it Homer? He became the general manager at Georgia Tech. Homer Phillips? Homer? Oh, I can't even think of that, man. This guy was from North Carolina somewhere. He coached up at the Cincinnati Bengals too.
Yeah,
I can't think of that man's name.
So let's see. You got Willie Anderson, who's also a Cincinnati Bengal.
He was awesome. He's from Alabama.
Jared Allen. Jared Allen, I wouldn't put him in yet. I'll probably put him in next year. Dwight Freeney.
I remember him.
Freeney, I will put him in
Syracuse.
next year. Yeah. Torrey
Yeah.
Holt, Torrey Holt should have been in last year.
Yeah, Terry he could play. He's North Carolina State, wasn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember him.
Andre Johnson.
Oh, he's still man.
He is pretty much the all-time leading receiver for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, he was UM too.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
he should have been in.
Yeah.
He should have been in last year. I would say this. He should have went in that last year. Him and Reggie Wayne. I'm looking at
Reggie was the truth.
Reggie Wayne should have been in last year. Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis.
Patrick could play.
He has a slight on him because he only played 8 seasons in the league.
But he's a Hall of Famer.
But he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he was a Mississippian. He played for Ole Miss.
Yep.
I remember Patrick. Yeah.
Albert Lewis.
Oh, Snow was the truth. He was Grambling.
Yeah.
Kansas City, and then I think he went to the Raiders.
So you have a lot of players that have been pretty much I wouldn't say snubbed, but they only gonna go with people that they in certain eras.
Yeah.
And so if somebody been in an era from like not the 60s or the 70s, then they will be considered on the senior committee would probably bring them in.
Well, don't forget now, most of them people who select this stuff, whether it be the Baseball Hall of Fame, the Basketball Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame or the college football, them old white men who racist, and then they got a quota system going. So it ain't gonna never be right. Because I'm just telling you, if you look at all of them men that's in that Hall of Fame, the majority of them can't touch Otis Taylor. Otis Taylor was the truth.
Right.
Yeah, straight out of Prairie View. And you talking about Albert Lewis. Albert Lewis played with Everson Walls. They were all at Grambling together. Doug Williams' brother, Mike Williams, was the quarterback. They had a boy who they thought was going to tear the NFL up. His name was Trumaine Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He was from Baker or Zachary, I think from Baker, Louisiana. He has a son who went in the league. I don't know where he is now. But that guy, Trumaine Johnson, oh, he was the truth, man.
Oh, yeah. The Blue said Devin Henson should have been the first ballot.
Yeah, he should have been first ballot. I'm telling you. Listen, is he in the College Hall of Fame? Because he should be in the College Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he should be in the College Hall of Fame.
Because the first time I saw him, he was like a bolt of lightning, baby. He was UM when UM was UM.
Everson Walls and Leslie Frazier should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Frazier was all corn. You're right. And Frazier played with a boy named Rodnell Young. See, now, they used to battle against a boy named Perry Harrington. Perry Harrington went to, he was Jackson State. He went to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
That's when y'all used to run them 3 backs. Jackson State back in then, this when I was in college, they ran the wishbone. And every one of their backs would go pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had Perry Harrington, Ricky Young. They had this boy, his name was Ricky Patton. Was it?
Yeah, Ricky Patton.
Yeah, he went to he came to the Falcons. He got his rings with the 49ers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Perry Harrington went up there with Ron Jaworski now. He was a big back, but he had sprinter speed. Them cats would play they would play Tennessee State in the vet back then, man. They'd have 50,000 and 60,000 people there. Yes, sir. Them used to be some class back like 80 and 81.
Somebody said Roddy White.
Roddy White.
Roddy is our guy. He's Atlanta.
He's Atlanta, but you can put him in there because he has over 10,000 receiving yards.
Yeah.
But you won't put him over a Jimmy Smith.
Or Harold Jackson.
Or Harold Jackson.
Or Otis Taylor.
Devin Hester isn't even in the Hall of Fame, the College Hall of Fame yet.
He needs to be. That's UM's fault. He should be. Listen, Mr. Mona, I wish you could have seen him. He was the truth. He would open up the game with a kickoff return, pro or college. He would listen. He would have everybody going crazy. He was electrifying. I'll never forget him. He came here to Atlanta at the end of his career. He had come to us from the Bears.
They changed it so that you could kick out of bounds, right?
Yeah, you would go almost to the half field if you kicked it out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't kick it. So that's why they started doing it.
Yeah. But that boy, man, he might have been the best. Now, Dion could do it. Now, don't get me wrong. Dion could electrify him with that punt. Dion could do punt and kickoff return.
Kickoff return.
But this boy here, this Devin Hester, man, that boy was the truth, man. I saw him. I watched his whole career. I saw him when he was at UM. He was the truth.
Yeah. Let's see what we got, man. But I don't know who's gonna be next on the list for next year. But
is that
Harold Jackson needs to be in there on the senior committee.
That's right. It's Harold Jackson, Jimmy Smith, and Otis Taylor. And then it's always some more. I just can't think right now.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute, is Everson Walls in the Hall of Fame?
Everson Walls not in the Hall of Fame.
He should be in there.
Can you pull up my Black History then?
Okay. So we're gonna do the SWAC Black History SWAC.
Oh, okay.
We gonna do that next, and then we're gonna move on.
I mean, because it's football. Y'all are already talking about it.
So we're gonna go to SWAC Black History Month. Now, this man right here, the Deacon, only one to go to 2 black schools and be in the Hall of Fame because he went to South Carolina State first.
Yeah, and then he went to Valley. Yeah.
He played in the league for the Los Angeles Rams, San Diego Chargers, and the Washington Redskins.
Yeah. He had them long fingers, Mr. Mona. He would slap. What he would do when he came out of his stance, he would slap the offensive lineman in the head. And he would give him almost a concussion because he had very long fingers. And he was a part of a front four. It was him, Rosie Greer, Merlin Olsen, and a dude named Lamar Lundy. They called him the Fearsome Foursome.
Yep.
And their coach was one of the most brilliant-minded defensive man. His name was George Allen. George coached into his 80s. He was brilliant, man. Only thing wrong with George Allen, he loved Richard Nixon, who was the crook of the 70s.
Yeah. When we talking about slap, it's like it ain't what you see on TV. We talking about one of those violent slaps.
Yes.
His hands was taped.
Yeah, and his fingers were very long.
So when he slapped you, he's not slapping.
Man, he could do
top of the head. He slapped you like all this right here in your face.
Yeah,
just to get advantage of the quarterback. Now he's the he's the one they coined the term sack.
Sack, yeah.
The quarterback sack.
Yeah, because they didn't record all of his sacks because at one time that was not a stat. Sacks was not a stat.
So his stats could be higher.
Oh, it should be much higher. Yeah.
He probably should have over 200 sacks.
Oh, man, that dude was good for 3-4 sacks every game. You multiply the number of games he had and put in 2.
So it says that he started his college football career at South Carolina State University.
Yeah, he did.
And then he took a year off, and then he went to Mississippi Vocational College.
Yeah, that's right.
Valley was known as Mississippi Vocational College.
Yeah. It's the youngest school in the SWAC.
Yep.
1950, I think.
Yeah, 1950.
Yeah, it's the youngest school in the SWAC.
Oh, Ruth. So it says that the South Carolina State revoked his scholarship after they learned he protested during the civil rights movement.
Yeah, that was common. At Albany State, they had a girl who was part of the civil rights movement. She was Miss Albany State. The president took her crown.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so terrible.
That's what they did back then, especially at the state schools. Albany State at one time put out a third of their student body because they were all involved in the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to read these stories because they were playing during a time where segregation and racism was rampant. It says that a lot of times when him and his African-American teammates, they had to sleep in the opposing team's gym because motels would not take them due to the color of their skin.
Now, and Mr. Mona, let's go back to your civil rights. When they killed Dr. Martin Luther King, April 4th, 1968, the National Guard completely surrounded Florida A&M. They completely, so you can ask anybody. That was in 1968. They completely surrounded that campus. Not only that, at Southern, the National Guard came on Southern's campus and killed some of their students. Same thing they did at Jackson, but it was the Mississippi State Police who did it at Jackson. The big one that got all the attention was the National Guard killed those kids at Kent State.
Yeah.
And the reason it got all the attention because those kids were white.
Wow.
And they
Yeah,
were
I remember all
protesting
of that.
Vietnam.
Yeah. But they came on Southern's campus and actually killed some students.
And then it says that Deacon Jones, he was credited with coining the phrase "sacking the quarterback."
Yeah.
That was really interesting.
He was something else.
He said, and he quoted, if he had a chance, he would. It seemed like he would take a baseball bat and just beat up the quarterback.
Yeah,
put him in a bag and beat him and rock him, sock and beat him up. And it's like what he said was to sack the quarterback was to like it was like bringing down a whole country or something like that.
Yeah,
like he had a whole phrase for what he said, and it's interesting for what he said, like literally.
Yeah.
It says you take all the offensive linemen and put them in a burlap bag, and then you take a baseball bat and you beat on the bag. You're sacking them. You're bagging them.
That was him.
And that's what you're doing with the quarterback.
And that's how he talked too.
And he did not care.
He didn't even care. They would be. I remember Rosie and them would do interviews with him, and they would be trying to calm him down because he was going to say what he wanted to say.
Yep.
Because the other ones was kind of reserved. You know, Rosie was a minister, and he was in Hollywood. Because Rosie was there when they assassinated Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy was on his way to becoming president of the United States. They killed him in L.A., California, I think it was. But Rosie Greer is the one who actually got the guy who shot him. He was a bodyguard. But Rosie, I think, was a Morgan State grad. I think. Look that up, Doc. See if Rosie Greer was from Morgan State. Is that Big Hands right there?
Gary Big Hands
Johnson.
Johnson.
He was the truth. I saw his whole career. I saw him at Grambling. He was something else. Huh?
Rosie went to Penn State.
Rosie went to Penn?
Yeah.
Whoa, I thought he went to Morgan.
Oh, okay. Move that little purple thing out the way, the SWAC Black History Month title.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It's just got the little Grambling thing on there.
This guy should be Hall of Fame too. Yeah. Cause see, a bunch of the at that time the San Diego Chargers, their defensive linemen were either from Grambling or Louisiana Tech. Big Hands was one. The other one was named Fred Dean. I think all of them they deceased now. I think all them guys are deceased.
Yeah, Fred Dean. I think he passed away like a couple years ago.
Yes, Fred was, and he was undersized, but he was the truth. He was this guy right here. Oh, he was awesome. He played with Kessler Winslow, Dan Fouts, Woodrow Lowe, Ed White, Greg McCrary, a guy named Wes Chandler, Bobby Duckworth, John Jefferson. That guy was named Chuck Muncie. They had a killer squad. They never won the Super Bowl, but they had a squad out this world. That was Don Coryell's team.
Oh, yeah.
So Gary Big Hands Johnson, he won a Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers.
That's right. And Fred Dean. Both of them were there.
And that's where he actually ended up retiring from.
That's right. Yeah, because I think I remember when Big Hand passed away. He was the truth. Now, Big Hand went against Walter Payton them. He went against Jackie Slater and them. Yeah, they all them about the same age. That's when the Grambling would come to Grambling would come to the vet to play Jackson. I'm telling you, Jackson State would have 3 first-round draft choices on their team.
And Big Hands was a first-round pick in 1975. He was
so he was a year behind. Yeah,
number 8.
He was a year behind Peyton then. He was a year behind Peyton. Man, them guys used to clash at the vet, boy. And see, the way it was back then, Jackson State would have Grambling coming in, and guess what they would do? They would make it the homecoming game. Yeah, they would make it a homecoming. That's why I told you, see, when I was growing up, a homecoming game wasn't playing Virginia Lynchburg and Edward Waters. It was a good game. That, and them SWAC schools, they like you know how Jackson and Alabama State played for Alabama State's homecoming.
Yeah.
That was common back in the 70s. That's the way they did it. Sometimes homecoming would be a championship game.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, but then they started that cupcake stuff.
These
Yeah.
D3 almost high school games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, which is not fair. Because like I told you, after Mr. Cameron said what he said, I went and talked to some FAMU people. They was, listen, I can't say what they want. But listen, they don't like that mess about no West Florida and what that other school you told me, Lincoln,
California.
They hot about that now. I heard Mr. Cameron with, and they FAMU don't care about this and all that. Them people up here is hot about that schedule now. They hot about that home schedule down in Tallahassee.
Fish grease, and they better. And what he say? You better beat Jackson State.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I remember this guy here.
So we're gonna go. Yeah. We're gonna go to take a break, and we're gonna go to baseball.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Lou Brock. Hey.
Lou Brock. He was. See now, what's lost in history is when he was at Southern. Southern won a national championship in baseball in AIA. That was 1959. Okay, this guy was from Arkansas. Because see, people don't know this, but back in the day, Grambling and Southern recruited heavy in Arkansas. They would get a lot of players out of Arkansas.
I can see Grambling getting a lot of players out of Arkansas.
Southern did too.
Because how close it is, though.
Yeah, Southern did too now. Both of them would recruit heavy out of Arkansas. Lou was from Arkansas. Now, Lou, I never forget, the first World Series I watched, 1968, Lou and them went against the Detroit Tigers. Lou was the black superstar. They had one named Kurt Flood, who was very famous because he's the reason them boys making all that money in baseball.
This was Cardinals, right?
That's right, Cardinals. They had the best black pitcher in the major leagues. His name was Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson.
And because of him, the white folks said, if we don't do something about that mound, this Negro is going to dominate baseball from now on. So they changed the mound just like they did when Wilt Chamberlain came along. They changed the lane. Okay, when Tiger Woods came along, they changed the masters. And when Bob Gibson came along, they changed the pitching mound.
Yep.
Yeah. But they were legendary, man. They went against a team from Detroit. They were called the Detroit Tigers. They had two black players. One was named Willie Horton. The other was named Gates Brown. Gates Brown had been in prison and had come out of prison and made the Detroit Tigers. The other players were Al Kaline. He was probably the best player. Bill Freehand.
Yep.
The last person to win 30 games. He was on that. Denny McClain. Denny McClain, the star of that series, he was a left-hander named Mickey Lolich.
Yeah, Lolich ended up, he didn't own it. I think he ended up owning the team for a little bit.
Well, Mickey got off heavy into softball. You know, softball got started in the 70s. After his career was over, he started spending a lot of his money in softball.
Wait a minute, I take that back. I'm thinking of not Lolich, I'm thinking about Illich. Illich is the family that owns Little Caesars Pizza.
Yeah.
But Lou Brock, I'm gonna tell you, Lou Brock was the stolen base king.
He broke Mark Wheel's record.
Yep.
Now you know who broke his record, right?
Oh, Rick.
Brock produced
Mr. Ford.
You know who broke his record?
Mr. Ford.
Huh?
I was in Oakland. I was living in Oakland. I was living in Oakland when he broke that record.
Listen, and you know, and see what makes me mad is they try to act like he never played. And that dude dominated baseball. Ricky Henderson came in and took over baseball. He would lead off the game with a home run.
So it says that in 1969, Brock produced 6 consecutive seasons with 190 hits or better.
Yeah.
It says that he broke a record set by Ty Cobb in 1973 when he stole his 50th base of the season.
Right.
Marking the 9th time he had stole 50 or more bases in a season.
That was him.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And I think he broke the record at 104.
Yeah,
Ricky came along and went for 120?
Yeah, Ricky was a whole nother animal when he came
Yeah, he was. Because see, Brock was still in second. Ricky was still second and third.
third. And then
Yeah,
if he wanted to steal home, he'll steal home too.
yeah, Ricky
In
was something else, man.
1974, he ended the season with a new major league single season record of 118 stolen bases.
That's right. And then Ricky broke that later.
So
And now they try to
our
act like Rick.
total,
Now, the last part of his life, they amputated his leg. He was a diabetic.
Who, Lou Brock,
Yeah,
right?
Lou Brock. Yeah, he was a diabetic. I think they did honor him at Southern. I'm not sure. I got to go back and ask somebody. But just look it up. He was on a national championship at Southern 1959. They won the NAI. Because another thing is that they don't tell you, Lou Brock was actually first brought into the major leagues by the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
The Cubs traded him to the Cardinals.
And Ernie Banks was
Yeah, Ernie Banks. That other man, it was a second baseman. He was a black guy. The other big timer was from Mobile. They called him Sweet Swinging Billy Williams. See, Billy grew up with Willie McAfee. He grew up with Cleon Jones and Tommy Agee. They helped the Mets win the '69 World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when the Mets had Tom Seaver.
Yeah, with Tom Seaver and a rookie, Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. And see, they made a mistake on Nolan Ryan. They thought that Nolan was wild. And people was trying to tell him, no, give him a chance. They traded Nolan to the California Angels.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we got Super Six.
The last part of the Black History Month session for great SWAC Black History is the Super Six, the SWAC.
Yeah, they were all from Texas, weren't they?
Yes, sir. It was.
Yeah.
So
Wiley College, Prairie View.
Mm-hmm.
Was Texas College in? Who else was in that?
So the founding fathers of the original, it says in 1920,
yeah,
8 men representing 6 colleges from the state of Texas met
to
discuss collegiate athletics.
That's right.
And many challenges they faced with their respective institutions. By the time the session in Houston had concluded, they founded an athletic league that was slowly becoming one of the leading sports associations in the world of college athletics, the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
That's right.
The founding fathers of the original 6 were C.H. Fuller of Bishop College,
right,
Red Randolph and C.H. Patterson of Paul Quinn, E.J. Evans, H.J. Evans, and H.J. Starnes of Prairie View A&M.
That was a big dog.
Of Texas College, and G. Witt, I don't know if that's Witt or White, Jordan of Wiley College.
Right.
The SWAC is considered one of the premier HBCU conferences in the country and currently ranks among the elite in the nation in terms of HBCU alumni playing with professional sports teams.
That's right.
The league continues to set the bar for college football attendance, leading all FCS subdivision conferences for the 42 of the past 43 seasons as of 2019.
Right. Now okay.
Oh yeah, no, please.
Okay, now what they don't tell you is, remember the movie The Great Debaters?
Yep.
Okay. Remember Professor Tolson, the coach of the debate team?
Yep.
He was also a football coach at Wiley College. He was coaching in the SWAC. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. He was coaching in the SWAC.
So if you see Tamona, you name 5 church schools and 1 state school. And the 1 state school is the only one from the original 6. Super 6 that you see?
Yeah.
Prairie View.
So Bishop College was from 1920 to 1956. Paul Quinn College was from 1920 to 1929. Samuel Hurston College was from 1920 to 1959. Texas College and Wiley College was from 1920 to 1968. And then there's Prairie View A&M from 1920 to present.
Right.
Langston University. I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can't share this, which you can find all of this information also on the SWAC website.
Right.
And it goes through the history.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pull that up?
So you have
Now,
Langston, you got
let me tell you this about Langston. Langston had a basketball coach named Zip Gales. He was at Langston in the late 40s. His program was so dynamic. He won it. He was the Black College national champ. Oklahoma State, I think, was the white people's national champ. He challenged them, and the politician said, "Hey, no way, no way, it ain't happening."
you said it right.
His name was Zip Gales. You ever get a chance, look him up. His name was Zip. He was a Morehouse graduate. The people at Morehouse act like they don't know nothing about him, but he was a Morehouse graduate.
So that Samuel Houston College, that is Houston. That's Houston Tillerson now.
Yeah, right. That's right.
District College is no longer
right
open anymore. That was the college in Dallas. Paul Quinn is still open, but they moved from Waco to Dallas. Texas College is still on the north side of Tyler. Wiley is still on that little old corner right there in Marshall.
Right.
Arkansas A&M and N, that is Pine Bluff. Right there.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah. They gave you L.C. Greenwood. They had a running back named Monk. I can't think of his first name. He was a big time back down there.
So now your present day SWAC, what you see now is like you see, Southern came in first. So when you start seeing, when you look down, when you kind of go through the whole conference, like go back up. So when you see these schools like leaving out that they, 56, 59, 68, 60, 57, 70, it's because of the simple fact that you start getting more state supported schools coming in SWAC.
Right. They couldn't keep up.
They couldn't keep up because these schools are being funded by the church.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So if it wasn't for, of course we gotta take credence to the history, because if it wasn't for these church schools that founded the conference at Prairie View, then we don't have no SWAC conference right now.
Yeah, and Prairie View had that bowl. They started a bowl, I think, in the 20s at the Cotton Bowl. Every year, first of the year, they would invite somebody to the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, so it would be Negro. That would be Negro Day at the Cotton Bowl.
At the Cotton Bowl, yeah, it was Prairie View.
So did you say Negro Day at the Cotton Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to realize the game that when Prairie View started playing, they started playing football in like the early 1900s. And so when they used to come to Dallas, because Dallas is that's where we hold our state fair.
Right. That's right.
And so that's the biggest thing that comes. So the city of Dallas would bring in somebody to play the game at the state fair.
Right. And that was Grambling, right?
It'll be Grambling, or it was some other teams too.
Yeah.
But they call it Negro Day.
That's right.
It was a certain day. It was one day out of the month for the state fair that they brought these teams in to play.
Yeah.
And so they didn't give, when Negro Day was there.
Yeah.
To be fair, Black people did not get jostled. We did not get assaults. We did nothing. They let us come in there in peace. Of course, because we're gonna spend, not say a lot of money, but this is just a fair. Ain't no rise.
Yeah, but they spent a lot of money.
They spent a lot of money.
Yes, they did.
But that's,
and it's just like of course you have during that time, the 1920s up until the 1930s, you had the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of stuff that was going on.
Yeah, it was.
If you guys have not had a chance to check out Ken Clark's channel, he has 2 separate breakdowns with basically Jackson State and the 4 presidents that tried to merge the schools with Alcorn State and Mississippi Valley State.
Right.
It's a great historical outlet that you should just go and listen. Just listen, you'll learn so much information. But one thing that they presented also with financial challenges with some of our HBCUs is that Some of these churches that were helping, they pulled back some of their support once they saw the strength that was growing with the Negroes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
They were
Mr.
giving it to you
Jones.
like they're going to help you, but then once they saw power, they kind of pulled back.
Well, now, Mr. Mona, one thing they don't tell you about is that prior to the 1970s, that private black school there in Jackson, Tougaloo College, that was regarded as a big-time academic institution. Now, most people don't know a lot about that now, but at one time, the brilliant kids, the ones that were really, really smart, you were sent to Tougaloo. That was a major school back in the day. But like you said, money problems and, not being able to keep up. You don't hear those kind of stories anymore about schools like Tougaloo.
So yeah, when you look at it, I'm about to talk, Mr. Jones, Mr. Emmett Jones. Yeah, Jarvis Christian is still around. It's still in
Yeah.
Hawkins, Texas. They went from college status. They're now a university now.
Right.
Big university status last year. Yeah, last year.
Now, Doc, when I went to Grambling, all them schools you called out from Texas, Grambling played them in basketball. When I was out at Grambling in the 80s, they played every one of them schools. That Bishop, Jarvis Christian, Texas College, Wiley, all of them played Grambling in basketball.
Yep. We also had another school. It's called Southwest. It was Southwestern University. It was in no, was it not Southwestern University? Guadalupe College is in Guadalupe, Texas, down in South Texas. It was another HBCU that was out there. It closed down, and I think it burned down. From what
Now, Doc, when did Texas Southern become a college?
Texas Southern became a college in 1927.
I thought it was a junior college.
It was a junior college. Yeah, it was a junior college first, and then
It became a 4-year. What year? Was it in the 40s?
Had to be,
I think it was in the 40s, right? Or was it 50?
well, let me see.
Southern University was a community college.
Yeah, you gotta realize some of these schools was we
I'm
not
getting ready to.
like straight universities or nothing like that. Valley was a vocational school in a junior college before it became a university.
So Texas Southern, what year did they become a 4-year institution? Was it 47?
Let's see, because they changed the name from Houston Colored Junior College.
That's right. I knew about that. Yeah.
Houston College for Negroes in 1934, and then 1946, February 1946. Heman, Marion Sweat.
That's right. It was a lawsuit. It was a lawsuit.
He applied for law school at
Texas.
At Texas.
That's right. I remember that.
Los put it in there. It said 47.
47. That's right.
Yeah.
Because that name you call out, I think that guy was involved with Thurgood Marshall. That Heman Sweat you just called out.
Yeah.
That's a big case, man. Yeah. Because the people in Texas said they would start another school instead of having integration. Yep. And that's when they gave Texas Southern. They had Prairie View. They made Texas Southern a 4-year school because of that lawsuit.
Yep.
Because they said they didn't want integration.
And it looks like that's the reason why. That's how Southern was able to get their law program, is because LSU refused to admit Charles Hatfield.
Okay.
And he was trying to, and so that is how the Louisiana Convention established a law program in 1947 at Southern University.
At Southern University, okay.
So
also
that was actually that was great that they decided to do that.
Yeah.
I wish that that Jackson State that they refused to give it to Jackson State and told us that we could get our own law program.
Well, actually, Jackson should have a law program and a medical school, because you're an urban university.
They
You
don't
don't
want to
have
give it
Mississippi
to us,
does not have
Mr.
a black
Ford.
law school. You don't have a black medical school. So Jackson State being in the capital city, you should have the law school and the black medical school.
They don't want to give it to us, Mr.
We
Ford.
I
gonna
know it, but
we,
that's what we
we
got to
gonna
fight for.
we gonna talk about that in a minute. But we gonna let's get to this right here. New Mexico State men's basketball scandal. If ain't nobody read about this, this is the craziest thing I heard right here.
Right.
So New Mexico State, the men's basketball team has halted. They have suspended their season. They have suspended their season. Um, is a lot of stuff going on with this New Mexico State situation. In fact, I'm gonna pull it up.
Now this is not new for them now, Doc.
Oh,
I remember in the
it's not new.
70s they had one. Norm Ellenberg and them. I think now remember Coop played with the what's his name? His name was Michael Coop. He played with
Yeah,
Magic Johnson. Remember him?
yeah, Michael Cooper.
I think he was from New Mexico State. Just look him up and see if he was from, because they had a big scandal out there in the 70s. That coach was named Norm Ellenberger.
So the New Mexico State University announced Friday night its men's basketball program has been indefinitely suspended. The school also placed first-year coach Greg Heyer and his staff on paid administrative leave for violations of university policy. Though a reason behind the moves was not given, the university did say the decision is unrelated to a deadly shooting involving New Mexico State power forward Mike Peake on November the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Peake, 21, was shot in the leg at the University of New Mexico hours before a rivalry game between the two schools. He was reportedly lured to the campus by 19-year-old Brandon Travis and three other University of New Mexico students, including a 17-year-old girl. Travis was also shot during the exchange and later died from his injuries. Peake was suspended in early December while a third-party investigator looked into his involvement in the shooting. Peake has not been charged, and a December report stated that the video evidence showed three teammates, Issa Muhammad, Marcellus Avery, and Anthony Roy, pick him up at the scene in a yellow Camaro before police arrived. They reportedly took him to a hospital. In a statement to, well, I ain't gonna see Fox Digital News, but New Mexico State suspended operations for the men's basketball program until further notice. New Mexico State personnel were recently informed of new allegations separate from the events that took place in Albuquerque late last year involving potential violations of university policy. While those allegations are being investigated, the men's basketball coaching staff has been placed on paid administrative leave. The game scheduled for February 11th against California Baptist will not be played. The university did not share if or when the program will be reinstated. The New Mexico State University Board of Regents also told Fox News Digital it supports the action taken by the university leaders and is confident a full and thorough investigation will be conducted. The district attorney in Albuquerque is conducting a separate investigation. The shutdown of a Division One program mid-season is extremely rare outside of COVID. Outside the COVID-19 outbreak, or many players with injuries. SMU football program did not play at 87 to 88 after the NCAA imposed sanctions, but that call was made in advance. Shortly after the shooting, Heyer loaded the team minus Peake and the three who picked them up onto a bus and left town. The university's bus was stopped by police on its way back to campus in Las Cruces, approximately 3 hours south. The Ags program had been teetering since that night, beginning with the canceled game against the Lobos in Albuquerque, which was originally scheduled for the day after the shooting. A rematch against New Mexico, scheduled for December the 3rd in Las Cruces, was also canceled. New Mexico State's game against California Baptist on West today was also canceled. The decision on the team's remaining 5 games, all conference matches, has not been announced. Let's see. The AP reported that the leadership at the school is also in flux as the Board of Regents recently decided not to renew the contract of Chancellor Dan Arvizu, which expires in June. Over the past 14 months, both the school's president and provost has have resigned or been removed from their positions. The Aggies have won 7 Western Athletic Conference titles and made 8 appearances in March Madness since 2007. They were supposed to move into Conference USA next year.
Mm.
In Hires' first season at the helm, New Mexico State has struggled to a 9-15 record, including 10 losses in their last 12 games. Hire took over for Chris James, who went 122-32 in 5 seasons when he left for Mississippi State. James also took the Aggies to 3 tournaments. Yeah. And people want to talk bad about HBCUs and some of the stuff that we kind of go through. But you got a whole scandal because y'all don't know what y'all want to. I ain't say y'all want to know what y'all want to do.
Well, Mr. Mona, now you can go see what you do is you go in there and look for them 6'9" you want and tell them they can leave that mess and come to Jackson.
I don't know if we want them hoodlums.
No, you got to vet them. Let's look at character. Let's see what we can get. See, sometimes it be some diamonds in the middle of that mess. It be some diamonds. See what you do is now you got to get in there. You look for your 6'9s. You vet them. See what kind of character they got. And then if they pass the character test, you bring them to Jackson.
They hazing and stuff. I don't know. I don't think we want any parts of that they got. People hazing. Now, they don't want some titles, though.
Yeah, what's that? It might be some 6'9s in there you want.
They do got some. Let's go ahead and look at the roster. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, they might have some 6'9s.
But the reason why we say it, or reason why I read that, because you cancel the season, wherever you're supposed to be playing next, now they're gonna have to juggle their schedule because you were the opponent.
Right.
So,
dude, we need this one. Shakiro Odunewo.
Oh, I like that name.
6'10", 245 pounds.
Where's he from?
Universal Academy in Providence, Rhode Island.
That means he went private.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he loved that.
They got Ethan Anderson.
Where's he from?
Kaysville, Farmington High School. 6'9" forward.
We'd have to go in there and do our vetting. Let's go and talk character. Let's see if somebody will vouch for him.
Well, I'm pretty sure that a lot of these players. Dr. Bradley, 6'8", 205 pounds. He's from Los Angeles, California.
Right,
yeah.
That's a wing right there. So we need some wings. We need some size in the back, in the front court.
Forward.
Well, Doc, does anybody in the SWAC have a 6'10" or a 6'11"?
Yes, it's probably.
I haven't seen any.
But
I was just wondering. I haven't seen all the SWAC teams. I'm just wondering. Does anybody have a 7-foot in the SWAC?
From what I've seen today, FAMU doesn't have anybody taller than. They all look like they 5'6" when they.
No, FAMU. For real?
When they're all standing next to Mansell.
Damn. Okay. Well, I didn't tell y'all about FAMU. Have y'all been on their campus lately?
Nah, I haven't been.
You got to see that basketball arena. That thing is called the Al Lawson Center.
Oh my goodness, it is beautiful. I watched the girls basketball game today and the men's basketball, and when I tell you that is a beautiful arena, it was empty, but it was beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. FAM need to go get a big time. They need to go. They need to get a big timer. I told Mr. Campbell I would go after Kevin Ollie. Kevin Ollie has a national championship. I would bring him to. See, I would get me somebody that would attract kids like Dion did. I'd go get me a big timer.
Mm-hmm.
I get me about $300,000. Let's see what. Let's do it for 3 years and then go from there. I'd invest $1 million in him.
Why can't we have the SWAC tournament in Tallahassee?
That's The SWAC tournament needs to be in Jackson or in Baton Rouge.
It's proximity.
Yeah, you always want the tournament where it's less than 3 or 4 out, where everybody can get there easily.
Mm-hmm.
The school that everybody can get to is Jackson State. That's the middle of the SWAC. If you can't get to Jackson, then the next one would be Baton Rouge. But one thing I want. Now listen now. Y'all going to the tournament, right? Doc, you going to the basketball tournament, right?
It's in Birmingham.
Yeah, you going, Mr. Mona?
I will be.
No.
Okay, this is what I want you to do.
Spring break.
I want you to deliver a message to Dr. McClellan. We don't want no mess with that tournament. I need that tournament to be upgraded. I don't want no 300 people at the championship game.
When they were talking about moving the game, he doesn't even know me to fool with me, but I'm just saying when they were talking about moving the Southern game to Alabama, I was just like, oh no, this is not gonna work. Like, no, you already got rid of the Southern Heritage Classic. I know they didn't get rid of it just to go to Alabama for Southern versus Jackson State.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So let's see what's next on the list. What we got today?
All right. The most that I've seen for basketball games, they just don't have good attendance.
Who is that?
Alcorn versus Jackson State. That was the most packed arena that I saw.
Well, how many was at that game?
I don't know how many was there, but they had a pack.
They're playing my Alcorn, right?
That's when we beat Alcorn by a point or 2 points or 1 point.
In Alcorn, right?
In Alcorn.
If it's in Alcorn, you packed out. They packed out the whole arena.
So you talking about what, 7,000? What was it tender?
Oh, you're talking about if it's at Alcorn, it ain't gonna be no 7,000. It's probably gonna be like 2,000.
That's all.
Somebody in the chat.
Remember they playing. They still playing that.
Asking for the number.
That older.
That's a Whitney arena, isn't it? It don't hold but 2,000.
Like 2,000.
Oh man, I thought it was bigger than that.
Well, at least it could be.
No, I thought Alcorn was. I thought that arena was bigger than that. Oh. But I'm gonna go back to what I said. That conference tournament should be in Jackson, Mississippi. It can't be in Jackson. It needs to be in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, the capital city of Louisiana.
Let's see. Next, we got next on the list. What we gonna? Let me see what we're gonna go to. Trying to see. I'm trying to see. HBCU Legacy Bowl participants.
Yeah.
And why the NFL Combine didn't want to invite Aubrey Miller to.
I think usually the HBCU Combine is during the Reese Senior Bowl, and then in October of 2022 they decided to move it to the HBCU Legacy Bowl. So I think that Aubrey Miller probably thought that he was going to have a chance to do the Combine after the Senior Bowl or before the Senior Bowl, but they ended up changing the location.
Right.
Well, I'm going to say it like this. If he went to the Senior Bowl, that's all he needs. Because let me tell you, everybody and anybody that's from the NFL is at the Senior Bowl. They are in Mobile.
And I would venture to say, like, I think it's almost like 80 to 85% of the players that play in the Senior Bowl, they get drafted.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If he did the Senior Bowl, he don't play.
Very high.
Every general manager saw him. Believe me.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
I think it would actually fare him better just because Aubrey Miller, he did a pro day and they were telling him how he's undersized, this, that, and the third. So you don't necessarily what they do, with regard to measuring how big your hand is or measuring your span. Like, you proved to all those scouts out there that size doesn't matter.
That's right. And he can play with them.
So you would be better off. Possibly it might be to your benefit to not go because you actually showed what you could do regardless of the fact that you're undersized for your particular position.
But
I just hope he goes to a West Coast team. I want him to go out west.
But when you say he's undersized, Guess who's going to the Hall of Fame that was undersized?
Who?
Zach Thomas. Zach
That's
Thomas
right. Zach Thomas. Yeah, he was 5'10", wasn't he?
5'10".
He was 5'10". I remember Zach.
And going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's right.
Same position that he playing right now. Middle
Yeah, I
line.
remember Zach.
Oh, somebody in the chat said that they can get Aubrey Miller at New Orleans. They can get him to the New Orleans HBCU. Um,
We got a guest in the house. We got a great guest in the house. It's Dr. Lori. How you doing, Doc? I think she can't hear me. Dr. Lori, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Something wrong with the mic.
See, can you hear me? I can hear you now.
We can hear
yes, we can hear you.
This Miss
Hi.
FAMU?
Yes, Miss Fan.
Yes,
Miss FAMU, Miss Rattler.
exactly. How are y'all?
We're
Now
doing
listen, how
Good.
you feel about that home schedule?
uh-oh.
Oh, well, you know what? I talked about it on ONG the other night
Right.
because I'm the moderator. I am not very pleased with it, but let me tell you this, okay? Let me tell you this. So I've been very involved with the recruiting and everything, and we were able to offer every FAMU football player an NIL deal. So we
Right.
got some we were able to brokerage that, the collective I belong to, and so we got some really good players. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
not really happy with the schedule, but I know the assignment,
Right.
and the assignment is that we are trying to make sure that we win the Celebration Bowl, that we get to Celebration Bowl. We're not really worried about the playoffs. We're worried about the Celebration Bowl because we don't want to keep losing that. Because remember, we're prior MEAC, and I get tired of I said this before, these MEAC folks saying, why y'all in the SWAC? The SWAC is whack. Y'all need to come back to MEAC. And then we don't want to do that. We
Right.
want to be in the SWAC. And
That's
so
right.
our goal is to make sure we win this Celebration Bowl. So those Division II teams, when we play them, we don't just like barely win. We need to blow them out like
That's right.
Southern did Florida
Mhm.
Florida Mo. You know, Florida Memorial is precious to me because I'm from Florida.
Right.
But hey, it is what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what our assignment is. We're gonna make sure that we blow those Division II teams out, and that we go ahead and make sure that we're prop ourselves ready to go in, make sure we do well so we can hit that Celebration Bowl and actually win. Make sure that because the MEAC has been beating the SWAC for years.
Yeah.
I don't remember when we ever won. Do you,
Well,
Mr.
the
Ford?
guy who now let me tell you this. For years, the SWAC dominated the MEAC. The guy who broke that string was a guy named Billy Joe. Billy Joe is the one who broke the stranglehold of the SWAC on the MEAC.
Mm.
But see, before Billy Joe, Pete Richardson used to own the MEAC. He owned them.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Billy Joe came in and broke the stranglehold. But let me ask you this: how do you feel about Tennessee State being a priority on your schedule? Because you know, all my life I lived in South Georgia. We look forward to Tennessee State playing FAMU, and I
Mhm.
want to ask you, how do you think that should be a priority? That
I,
Florida A&M play Tennessee State.
I do. But listen at this. So this is the deal, because I went to Meharry Medical School
Right,
in Nashville, Tennessee.
right,
So let me tell you what happened to Tennessee State. Tennessee State is almost not considered an HBCU anymore in the state of
right,
Tennessee because of all the stuff that happened. So I really do believe that FAMU should do that classic again. And the
right.
reason why they stopped because 100 black men was taking all the money.
That's true. That's
And
true.
that's what happened. But I really do think that we should try to play North Carolina A&T
Right.
and play Tennessee State, because I
Okay.
think. But let me say this. So Rattler Nation is happy. We're so excited because what happened the other night with Ken Riley.
Right.
We're the
That's
most
right.
happy
Oh yeah.
that he is now in the Hall of Fame. When I was
Yeah.
at FAMU, we had Rudy Hubbard first. I went to FAMU in the 80s,
Right.
1983.
Oh
And
yeah.
then, the Jacksonville alumni got rid of Rudy Hubbard because they were so upset because we weren't winning.
Right.
So I was actually at FAM when Ken Riley came.
Right.
And we're just so happy that even though he has passed,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
he is
yeah.
in the Hall of Fame now.
And his family can enjoy it.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
we're gonna hit Ohio. You're gonna see a whole bunch of orange and green at that celebration
Oh yeah.
in
Oh yeah.
Ohio.
I
Oh
wonder
yeah.
if the March 100 gonna be at the Hall of
Of
Fame
course,
parade.
of course, of
If
course.
they can, they're gonna be there now.
Yeah, but you
You
know
know,
what?
FAMU.
But let me tell you this: people don't understand. It takes about $200,000 to move that van.
Right, right, right.
And we have certain money, that we have to actually raise and stuff to actually, get there. So it's not like we don't want to come. It just costs so much money to move the van, and people don't realize it. It's like, why fam you didn't come? Because it costs so much money, $200K to move us.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so that's the deal on that. So, but I know that Rattler Nation right now is very happy tonight.
Now, Dr. Lord, let me ask you this now. Like I told you, I'm a South Georgia person. Well, this is one of the things we were always used to. FAMU always hosted a game in Jacksonville. That was my whole life. I want to ask you again, what are your thoughts on FAMU playing annually in Jacksonville? When I was growing up, it was called the Bowl City Classic. I don't have to tell you that. I know that you know that. But I just want to say, what's your thoughts on that? Should FAMU host a game in Jacksonville like they used to?
Well, I wish that they could, but you also have to understand the dynamics of Jacksonville. You said you've been to Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
So you
Oh
know
yeah.
what's going on. So I mean, when I was at FAM, we went to, like you said, we went there to Jacksonville and we played Georgia Southern
Yeah,
and other
that's
things.
right.
So I think that FAMU got away from that because of the politics and everything of actually going to Jacksonville. But Jacksonville, to be honest with you, is our strongest alumni chapters are like
Right.
in Jacksonville.
Right.
So if anybody can pull FAMU back to Jacksonville, it'll be the Alumni Association there because they're very strong. But yeah, I think that we need to get back to what we used to do. Like
Right.
we used to hit Miami,
Yeah.
Orange Blossom Classic,
Right.
in Atlanta, and then Jacksonville. And
Right.
really, to be honest with you, that Florida Classic, we're in Orlando with that, but we really probably need to go back to the table and negotiate.
Okay.
Not maybe giving somebody else a chance like Tampa.
What you think about Jacksonville? Jacksonville hosting the Florida Classic.
When the last time you've been to Jacksonville, Mr. Ford?
It's been a little. Let's see. The last time I went, it's been over 10 years.
Okay, well, I ain't gonna talk about Jacksonville because I'm from Florida. My uncle and my brother live there, but
Right.
Jacksonville is a very depressed area, in my opinion, in Florida. It really is. It used to have a smell. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that the paper company. they did the paper.
I know. It used to have a nasty smell, but now they got rid of that. But the Riverwalk and the landing is no longer even there anymore.
For real?
Did you realize that? Remember how yeah, the Riverwalk and the landing is not even there anymore. And so what I'm saying is that, Jacksonville got to really step up, I think, to the plate to make it beneficial for FAMU to go there. Okay, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of things that we need to do, we're gonna try to only try to influence and make FAMU understand that everything that we need to do, it needs to be conscious in mind. Is it beneficial to the university and to I'm talking about money wise.
Right.
And so that's one thing that we're really trying to get into, make have a whole mode of thinking about. This need to be about, if we're gonna go to Jacksonville, we need to have some money on the table.
Right. Okay. So the city needs to get involved.
So I got a question. All right. So of course, me being, J State all the way.
Oh, Doc.
What is your take on what is your take on the OBC this being the final year playing the OBC in Miami at the beginning of football season?
Well, I'm a Floridian, but I'll be honest with you. Jackson State, we need to play y'all in Jackson. Y'all come to Tallahassee.
Right. That's right.
I think, because see, I'm old school, real old school now, okay? So back in the day when I was at FAM, Jackson State used to come to Tallahassee. You know, we went meeting y'all down in Miami. Miami is a whole different flavor. If you're from Florida, you'll understand what I'm saying. Miami is a whole different flavor. Whereas if you came to the school, Bragg Stadium, or we went to Jackson, I think it's more personable. Now, let me tell you this, because people ain't going to like this, but I'm going to tell you the truth. We have never had a rivalry with y'all. It wasn't like that. It was never like that back in the day. Some of my friends I went to medical school with went to Jackson State. We're friends now.
Yeah.
We never, fam, you never had a rivalry with. Our rivalries are Bethune-Cookman and maybe Southern.
Southern, and don't forget Tennessee State.
I was gonna say Tennessee State.
Yeah.
So it's never been something like adversity or animosity to each other, because we always had love for each other. So I understand people want to make this, but it's never been like that with us. So I think we should keep it on that level, try to make it more personable by y'all coming to Tallahassee and getting this right the love that we have for you. But you know what? But we gonna still try to beat you.
Yeah.
But we had nothing but love from people from Mississippi, because my ancestry, a lot of my family has come from Mississippi. They moved in the middle of the night to Florida because you know what I'm saying. They had to, because of some stuff that went down in Mississippi with my grandfather, and we moved in the middle of the night to Florida. We've been here ever since, the whole family. So what I'm saying is that a lot of Floridians have love for people from Mississippi. I know this is supposed to be a rivalry, but it's not really a true one. And so I don't see why we can't have Jackson State and Tallahassee, and also we come to Jackson. And I think that'd be and I think this is the last year that we're going to have you all in the OBC, because OBC is owned by somebody else, but it's really a FAMU thing. So we're probably going to have some other team going to meet us down in Miami after this year.
But now, Dr. Wilson, let me just say this. As long as Jackson State is in the East, and that's your division opponent, y'all got a rivalry. Okay. Let me just say this now. Dion did dig a wound in the FAMU faithful now. Yeah. They, you know, I tell people all the time,
but
when we talk about FAMU, you talking about 80 years, only 12 losing season. FAM don't like getting beat by nobody.
No, we sure don't. But listen at this. We all, see, that's what we was trying to tell y'all, but y'all wouldn't listen. We all knew Dion from Florida State. When I was at FAMU, he was at Florida State. And matter of fact, he spent most of his time on FAMU campus, because he married his first wife. It was one of the girls that lived on my hall. So we knew all about Dion.
See.
And we knew all about him, what he was gonna do, how he was gonna do y'all. We knew that was gonna happen, because we know him.
Yeah. I want you to stay on the line, because we're gonna get into. I want to get into this one right here.
Okay.
Dr. Ruth Simmons resigns from Prairie View abruptly. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
So now it's a tussle between her and the chancellor, John Sharpe, for the Texas A&M board, the Texas A&M system, because he's the head over the system. Now he told her that because you're resigning, you cannot hire people that you're going to bring in, and then you're going to leave in June, and the new president is going to come in July. And she feels like Dr. Simmons feels like that, well, if I can't bring my own people in before I roll up out of here, then how about I just roll up out of here right now? And the letter that she wrote, I don't know if people read that letter, but I think she gave Chancellor Sharpe the fifth degree. Like, she was, I think she had some black Air Forces on when she wrote that letter yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I think she has been unhappy for a while, and I just think that this just really kind of culminate. I mean, got to the point where she had to say what she had to say. And I'm going to just say this. I'm going to put this out here. Being a Black woman and being a professional in these spaces is very hard work.
Yeah.
It's very hard work, and people never understand that. And then my thing is, I was just talking to one of my colleagues. She's she's a physician in Myrtle Beach, and I was telling her, Black women, when they're on these jobs, these high power jobs and everything, who do they have to talk to? Nobody.
Yeah.
Because you don't have nobody to trust. You don't have nobody to actually guide you. And let me tell you this, as a Black woman that's head of her clinic, they're not going to like you no matter what you do. I have did everything I know in my career to be nice to people or to whatever. But, there's a certain amount of respect that comes along with who you are. And all I'm saying is that a lot of times people misconstrue what Black women professionals, what they say and they do. And they always think that you're angry, but they don't know what it took for you to get there.
Right.
So you don't know what that man has said to her and belittled her and made her feel that she was less than. I think she was unhappy for a minute, and it just all came out. But it's been a long time of this stuff that I call it macro and micro aggressions.
Right.
You won't believe some of the stuff that people say to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah. And Doc, I just want to say this. I've been following Dr. Simmons since she was president at Smith College. And I think, didn't she go to Princeton? Was she? I think it was two schools in East she was president. One was Smith College. What was the other one?
Brown University.
I think
Brown
it was
University. Yeah.
Brown, yeah.
Now, let me just say this. I've followed her for years. And when we get a person of that caliber running one of our HBCUs, we have to not only take care of her, but we have to cherish her. Now, usually what we do, we wait till brilliant people like Dr. Simmons have passed on, and then we realize how great she really was. And I'm going to say this, and I don't mean no harm to nobody, but I'm going to tell you this. The fact that she had to resign like that, that's Prairie View's loss. That's Prairie View's loss. That lady is brilliant. Let me tell you something. One of the reasons that Hazel, I don't know, what was that Scott's lady name, was giving out all the money?
Mackenzie Scott.
Mackenzie Scott gave that money to Prairie View was because she had a relationship with Ruth Simmons. See, Ruth Simmons was good friends with that writer that passed away that they talk about, the wrote the book Beloved and Blew Us About, Toni Morrison. Mm-hmm. And see, Mackenzie says that Toni Morrison is the greatest teacher she ever had. But Mackenzie knew Ruth Simmons through Toni Morrison. So when we lose people like that, Doc, that's our loss. That ain't hurting her. I'm telling you now, if they don't ever talk about her at Prairie View, they still talk about her at Smith College. They still talk about her at Brown University. So I'm saddened by that. You know me and Doc, you know me and you done had this conversation now. I tell everybody, I loved Dr. Myers. I thought the world of Dr. Myers. Now, she didn't know nothing about football. She didn't know nothing about no basketball and how to run no athletic department. But that lady was a brilliant woman.
Was that
mismanaging money?
That's what they want to say, that she was mismanaging money, but she really
that lady's biggest problem was she didn't know how to run no athletic department. She didn't know that. If she had done that, she would have been the greatest president in Jackson State history.
Oh yeah.
She didn't know nothing about sports.
Yeah, she would have been second. She would have been only second to Dr. Peoples at Jackson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But she just didn't know nothing about sports. Because see, let me tell you about when I was at Grambling, Coach Robinson told us, he said that number one, every black college has to have a winning football team. And the second thing he said was they got to have an outstanding band. Because that football team and that band, that's your front porch. That's what's going to attract the kids.
Right.
And so they had, the only thing was she couldn't get that football program together.
Well, I see what Mr. Moore.
Finance issues where she was unable to balance the checkbook. It
But
says during Meyer's time as president, the university went from $17 million cash flow surplus to an $8 million deficit. Now,
yeah,
that's
on that,
without doing research on whether or not IHL was actually giving the money that we're supposed to get. That's something right there.
right
To speak
now,
for.
I would say this is that with Dr. Ruth Simmons, she was and she is a phenomenal leader.
Yes, she
Prairie
is.
View. So Prairie View, um, Prairie View is going to miss out on a good person, even though
Right.
I knew she only has 4 months left in her tenure because she's stepping down. So now the next person that's coming up, we already talked about her. She that lady look like she ain't playing no game when she
What,
comes in.
what's her name?
Tamika LeGrand.
This is
She
a lady from Savannah. She graduated from Savannah State, wasn't it?
graduated from Savannah State. Look like
Yeah,
she ain't
yeah.
playing no game. And she the same age as me. I'm like, God, what's up with that?
Tamika P. Legrand.
Mhm.
Legrande?
LeGrand, yeah.
Legrand. Okay.
Yeah.
Another
She
woman
ain't
president.
she,
Congratulations to her.
she
Yeah.
ain't no game.
She just got some big shoes to fill now.
Yeah, she got some big shoes to fill, but it's not like to me, I don't think it's gonna be a drop off.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna be a drop off from Dr. Simmons to Dr. LeGrand. So um but yeah. The next on our list, man, like we moving this fast. We moving this fast, y'all. So Mr. Ford, you gonna laugh at this.
Uh,
Brett Favre
yeah.
is trying to sue Shannon
Shannon
Sharpe
Sharpe. Yeah, I saw
and
that the
Pat
other day.
McAfee for defamation of character.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
I'm laughing. What do you think about that, Dr. Lori?
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I mean, he clearly stole money.
Yes,
And
he
so,
did.
he clearly stole from people who are marginalized,
Right.
who need it. So, I mean, I don't have any type of sympathy or empathy for
Right.
somebody who steals for poor people.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
but
And they
hey,
definitely
listen.
broke the law.
Hey, listen. So what I'm going to do is I want to listen to you all, but Doc, I want to tell you, I want to give you your props now, okay? Because I remember when you first started, and I'm just saying, I see the growth in you, and I appreciate you, and I just want you to do very well in and y'all in your endeavors, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and listen because I love to listen to Mr. Ford, so I need to listen to what
Thank you,
he's talking
Doc.
about.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
Okay,
you.
Lori.
so I'm gonna go ahead and leave so I can listen to the program and listen to what y'all got to say. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for coming on.
Okay, no problem. Bye bye.
All
Bye-bye.
right, Doc.
Man, but look, you got Brett Favre is trying to sue Shannon Sharpe. So just because he said something to him and then Pat McAfee said something about him, I'm like, look, and he's suing the state who's the state auditor too.
Yeah.
Conversation
he
in my
sued
life
the
these days. I'm getting sued by Brett Favre.
What?
Yeah,
Come
we made it,
on.
boys. Hey,
You're right. Take a bow.
let's raise our drinks.
Sure.
When we started this little show in the basement of a house that certainly was haunted,
Yep.
and the mics rarely worked, and we talked for an hour and a half on numerous occasions and found out that we weren't recording. This show has grown so much that we're lucky to be live from Radio Row. We're lucky to have a little bit of say in sports. We're thankful that we have the opportunity every day to be a part of the sports media world. And I guess whenever you get a little bit too big, you fly a little bit too close to the sun.
That's right.
I'm getting sued alongside Shannon Sharpe and an auditor from Mississippi by Brett fucking Favre.
Wow.
Brett Favre suing me in a defamation lawsuit saying I defamed his name to try to earn a profit. With this, obviously, I believe comes discovery and depositions and all these other things. So I would like to let the New York lawyers that wrote me 2 letters before this thing got announced. First letter was, we would like you to go back and erase every single video that has Brett Favre's name mentioned in it from your YouTube library, your Twitter library, and everything else. This is a warning shot pretty much. So I looked at that. I said, that is hilarious. Of course, we're not doing that. Put that down, move on with my life. Then a few days later, just a few days ago, actually, you have until Wednesday, okay, this Super Bowl week, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time to issue a public apology to Brett Favre and also to erase all of the video in your catalog that involve Brett Favre's name. That is 8:30 Wednesday. So my wife read that to me because I was here. She was not here yet. And I immediately started laughing because my wife understands I'm one of the worst apologizers in history. It's tough to get me to do it. It is. It's very difficult. So now I had a deadline, 8:30. I was planning on doing it.
Yeah.
We played pickleball.
True.
We did. It happens.
Flew right through
Oh, I'm sorry. I just learned about a drop shot. Oh, I'm sorry. I just learned how to serve with like a wicked topspin on it. And I got caught up. That timeline came and went. And all of a sudden, I'm getting sued. I would like to let everybody know the quotes that were in that lawsuit were certainly accurate. But there's one word I believe that was said often on this particular program, if you were to watch it all, and that would be allegedly.
That's right.
Our job is to report the news. Allegedly, what was going on down in Mississippi with Brett Favre, the man who is suing me for money and for defamation, was being reported on this particular program because we owe the sports media world our coverage of it. We take our job seriously as journalists. Just a couple of days ago, we introduced to the world darkness retreats for 4 days.
That's
There
right.
you go.
We've made poop jokes before.
What?
We've also potentially been a part of building an indoor facility, which is just like a $100,000 bubble for the Cincinnati Bengals team. We take a lot of pride in our work. We had to cover that situation, and we certainly said allegedly. And a lot of people are wondering how my lawyers are going to handle this. You know it. I ain't got them. So let's ride this fucker. I'm excited to see how it goes. I'll see you in court, pal. Cheers to everybody, and cheers to Feel Good Friday not being ruined at all by that.
Cheers.
No.
Cheers to all you guys.
Cheers.
You think they're going to pull up clips of –
I hope so. I want to be on the stand.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm getting deposed or whatever, right? I'll be in one of those videos where I'll be sitting in a room. Lawyer's supposed to be here, so I'll probably be AJ just sitting next to me.
I got you.
Just so I can have somebody with me so I'm not bored.
I wear a suit. Knows the other guy.
Did you guys say that he was a sticky finger bandit? Yeah, but then allegedly, because allegedly he was.
Yeah,
I mean,
allegedly. Right.
That's right.
But nonetheless, the more we speak, the better it gets. And I don't think this is ending anytime soon.
I don't think so either.
So shout out to everybody that gave me the heads up I'm getting sued and for all the support and love. But I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. This was my decision to handle it. I'm just going to put a GIF up here. What a joke. I don't know. I've had lawyers reach out to me and tell me how big of a joke this whole thing is. Whatever. I assume this is going to come at some point with how big the show has gotten. We're lucky for it. We're thankful for it. We move on.
Man.
Brett
That's
Favre
legendary.
opens a
Well-
can of worms.
You know what this means, right? Doc, you know what this means, right?
What that mean?
He's getting
That
ready
means
to
everything
be
they saying
Nino
about him is
Brown.
true. He
That is.
called himself trying to suppress the truth. That's what that is.
Is it?
That was probably one of the dumbest things that he could ever do. So,
That's right. That's
so with
right.
Black people, a lot
The
of
truth
people
is out
don't
there,
care
though.
about poor Black people getting oppressed. Most people in America, they'll just say, "Oh, that's too bad," or "That's sad," or "Maybe they should vote," and then they move on with their lives.
Yeah.
But when you go against a power structure like Pat, where millions of people listen to him and he has a big platform, and you decide to sue him or Shannon Sharpe, who has a Fox News, if you're suing Shannon Sharpe, then aren't you suing Fox News then?
Yeah.
So now you're trying to go against entities that have a billion dollar business, millions and millions of dollars. So now you're going to open up a can of worms. So now people are going to pay
That's right.
attention. Everybody knew that you stole the money. You knew that you stole the money, and it was all going away.
That you stole the money. That's the thing. There's text messages saying that about you stealing the money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things.
And they built that gym. The gym is still there.
The gym is still there. So there's no way. Why would you try to sue McAfee and Shannon Sharpe because they was telling the truth about you? A lot of people out here was telling the truth about you. It was out there. Even the state auditor told the truth about you because he audited. He found that's where it all came from. He found money that was missing.
Right.
I think what's funny is the fact that he started implicating people.
Right.
Like he said that the governor knew where the money was coming from.
Yep.
Why are you even opening your mouth? So he started snitching on everybody.
There you go.
He's saying if I have to go down, everybody
go. That's right.
And so now
that's the reason
the Republicans are they're just in hot water on all fronts, not just with Brett Favre and Phil, and there's implications that Tate Reeves is involved. There's implications that a former football coach could possibly have ties into it.
Didn't he throw Dion under the bus?
I didn't want to say the actual name, but
yeah,
but then he said something about giving Dion them some money for Shadu or something. Didn't that come up?
They throwing any and everybody under the bus. He's saying if I'm going down, everybody is going down. He's getting ready to Nino Brown everybody from Phil to Tate. And it's interesting because right now we have so much going on in Mississippi with regards to the Republicans trying to basically turn Jackson into the apartheid, just like in South Africa.
There you go.
They want to make this. And I think that they the reason why they tried to like cut out the pieces where the majority of white people live is because if you are not making sure that the white people in Jackson have water, it's going to be a problem. So they're making sure that certain parts of Jackson have water. And they're still trying to basically not have the minority filled places where a lot of minorities live, like West Jackson. They don't want to give them water. But I feel like this is all good because I feel like at some point the feds have to intervene, the ACLU, because you can't just sit by idly and just let it happen. Otherwise, what type of interest group are you if you only go to the aid of certain types of disenfranchised groups?
So we all know about the battle for the city of Jackson. So basically what happened is, what happened was, Mr. Ford, is that the federal government, Joe Biden, gave the city of Jackson up to $800 million to go and fix its water situation, the water infrastructure. So now the money is coming in, but guess who gets a hold of it? Guess who's trying to get a hold of it? The state of Mississippi is trying to get a hold of the money that's earmarked for Jackson.
Right.
So it's basically the state is basically saying, nah, we're not gonna give the city of Jackson its money right now. We're not gonna give the money for it to fix the infrastructure. We're gonna try to see where we can pass this bill on, and to where this money will be split between the bedside communities like Clinton, Burke, Flora, Flowood, Ridgeland, Madison. You know what I'm saying? Those towns right there where nobody stays, they don't have a problem. They don't have the issues. It's the city of Jackson that has the issue. And they've been fighting for this, but they've been fighting for this. Like, if you want to look at, and I know you've seen it, you try to look at how you want to kill a city.
Right.
That's one part right there. And this is something that C. Lee McInnes, he was on Ken Clark's show last night. Shout out to Ken Clark 1400 Club. He was on the show last night. He said the way you kill an inner city is the black middle class leave up out of there.
Yeah, that's true now.
Then you kill it. Kill it because the poor don't have the money. We don't, the black middle class, is the one that had the house.
Yeah,
They own their house.
yeah,
So they pay property tax for their house. That
right,
funds your all your infrastructure, your schools and everything like that. But if you don't have that black middle class, if you just don't have a middle class at all,
right,
then
Yeah, a lot of Jackson State alums, they move out. They go to Dallas. They go to Houston. They go to Atlanta, Florida,
mhm,
Charlotte. They go to leave Jackson State to go build. But I mean, for me, like the same show that you were watching, they were highlighting that Jackson is the only capital that does not have a predominantly white institution.
that's
So
true.
there's not a predominantly white institution in the capital.
right,
And they've been trying for decades, since 1920, to change that. And they've been unsuccessful. So now I guess they're trying to, I don't know, basically impoverish the city until there's nothing left. But that doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
But see, that's when you're gonna have to have like with something like that, especially it's since it's being done in broad daylight. Even though I understand the difference between federal rights and states' rights, because that's where your part of your checks and balances come in at too. The federal government gonna have to step in on this.
I think that's why they're not stepping in, is because of it's almost like Civil War 2.0 for the feds to step in and intervene on what the state is doing. This Mississippi will cry foul, even though like this bill that they passed, House Bill 1020,
Hmm.
basically they're making it so that local citizens are not going to be able to vote in these judges
Yeah,
and other let me see, the judges aren't going to be voted in. It says that the attorney general's office would be responsible for appointing prosecutors, and public defenders would work underneath the Mississippi public defenders. Like, we're talking about Mississippi burning type of
yeah,
thing, because if you think about it, like, why if you think about why there is not a lot of voting in these areas, that even though they do vote, so even if there's 100,000 people that are registered to vote and 20,000 people vote, places like Hinds County, where it is majority black, it's going to be a Democratic stronghold. And so what Mississippi is trying to do with their gerrymandering and redistricting, and now trying to take it away to where you don't even get to cast a vote,
redlining.
they're this is illegal. And the United States knows that it's illegal. I know that Joe Biden has seen it. I know the Department of Justice has seen it. The civil rights, everybody knows about what's going on in Mississippi. So why is nothing being done? Where are the lawyers from the ACLU to immediately file a federal lawsuit that and that's a federal question. Why are you guys infringing upon our constitutional rights? What's going on? Do you
I
know
think,
when there was even a thought that abortion was going to be illegal, there was like 10 different lawsuits filed.
Right.
Immediately they had lawsuits filed. Where are those people at? Do they only advocate for people whose rights are infringed upon when they're a certain color?
well,
So
the key term that you use, Mr. Mona, is that term Civil War. And see, what's happening in Mississippi is a microcosm of what's happening in this nation. This nation is totally divided. It has not been this divided since the 1860s when we had the Civil War. And you are absolutely correct. The reason they can't act on it because it's going on everywhere. It's not just Mississippi. It's everywhere.
Mississippi's just so blunt with it, and so like,
Well, yeah,
I dare you.
they're
They're
who
just
the eye of the nation is on them, but it's everywhere, especially in the South. But it's also in the Midwest too.
But if you look at it too, this is what you would kind of call it the new Southern strategy now.
Yeah.
Because if you want to choke out a city, just like that, create some bills to where, like you said, the judges not going to be the judges not going to be voted in. They're going to be appointed, and they're going to be overseeing a city where they don't even live in.
Right, you
They
guys
don't
don't
know
live
nothing
here.
about.
How are you going to appoint?
But listen, it goes back to gentrification. They need listen. When you got a capital city like Jackson,
Yep.
that is strategic, and those people need to live there because that's where the banks are, that's where the jobs are, and this might be the beginning of that gentrification of trying to get the blacks out, and then white flight reverses and comes back to the city, because that's what we have in Atlanta, that's what's going on in DC, that's what's going on in many of these major cities. For a long time during the 70s, 80s was like over 80% black. Atlanta's now down to 49% black.
The only way they would do that they could do that is, which might be the reason why they redistrict and how they cut it out, is because they're going to start fixing those parts. When we say that we're getting 600 to 800 million for the water system, they'll try to start fixing those places and have that part of Jackson fixed first. And they'll start raising the prices over there, pricing out minorities, moving them. And then West Jackson and other areas will be the last to get their water fixed, if they even get it fixed, because it's a $2 billion problem.
Right.
My problem is that I don't see enough. Where are the lawyers that are going to file the lawsuit, the federal lawsuits? I know that we have some lawyers in the state of Mississippi. And Roderick, you're saying that, but what the state of Mississippi did is they removed those funds, and they're trying to, if I remember correctly, they passed a bill that would give authority to a third party so that the water would basically they're trying to find a way to siphon that money.
Right. There you go.
Figure out a way to siphon the money, which is, it's really kind of like arrogant to think that you guys just were exposed for stealing $100 million. And in some of those depositions, they were talking about how if they transferred the money to a nonprofit, that money becomes it's no longer federal dollars, and so you don't have to have any discretion on how it's spent. So we've already been exposed to how they are moving this money around. And for you to be that arrogant to do it in our faces and in public view, that you're just going to take over this $600 to $800 million that was given to the city of Jackson, like, they really want to have a civil war.
Now, this is what I'm saying. When so Thursday I had my boy First Letter from Put It On Something. Shout out to him, man, for coming on. We talked about this on Thursday. It doesn't matter what people say as far as the state and the federal, states' rights, federal rights. Once the feds see that the state government is infringing on the people of the state, they have to come in and swoop in.
The only way they'll swoop in is if they file a federal lawsuit.
Somebody has to file. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Somebody has to file a federal lawsuit. But what I'm saying is that's the only way that they will do anything about it. You got to swoop in. Somebody, like you said, where's the lawyer at to where they can file this lawsuit? Because, like you said, the people of Jackson, who are good people, and it's still just not all black. It's still some white people in there in Jackson. It's some white people that stay in the inner city, west side, east side, north side, south side. But and I bet you I bet you right now that they don't want to have terrible, this drinking water where you literally can't drink. You can't drink the water. You can't do anything. You can't take a shower with the water. You have to boil the water over and over and over again so you can purify it before you can, you know what I'm saying, before it's for consumption. Like you have the state is willing to kill its own state capital, the capital of your state, to try to prove a damn point to say we not about to be ran by black people. And if that was the case, if you see what's going on right now, I'm gonna say it just like this. Remember this, Mr. Ford, when we the state of Mississippi had the flag issue.
Yeah.
NCAA told them, we ain't coming to your state. We not spending out a damn dime in your state. We ain't hosting no tournaments. We ain't doing none of that stuff until you take that flag down. It took them a long time for that to happen.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that, I'm going back to be a political science major, and it's interesting to learn about how the mind works and how people think. And one thing that's interesting is that we learned about like the political identity of some people. So for instance, there are poor white Mississippians who are more so aligned with, or should be aligned with, Black Americans with regards to the rural areas and Medicaid expansion and the access to health care. All of these things are things that Tate Reeves has said, there's no way I'm going to expand Medicaid. So you have hospitals that are closing all over. I would even venture to say that possibly when that coach, Mike Leach, when he had that heart attack, that he didn't have quality care because they don't have very good quality hospitals out there.
He had to drive all the way to He had to drive all the way to Jackson just to go to the hospital.
Right.
Because there was no trauma center like that to treat him at Mississippi State in Starkville.
Right.
So
Yeah.
of course, you have to go to Jackson or you got to go to Memphis. Memphis would be too far for him, or he could have went to Birmingham because Birmingham ain't that far, or Tuscaloosa, but the closest place was to Jackson, was in Jackson at the University of Medical Center.
Right.
And there's rural hospitals that are shutting down all over the place. My point, I'm saying this to say this: poor white Americans in the state of Mississippi would rather vote Republican or vote for Tate Reeves to spite, I don't want these Black people to get this, that, and the third, not realizing that while you're worried about what we get or what we don't get, you guys aren't getting anything either.
It's the same thing that Trump did.
Yeah.
It's the same thing Trump did when he was running for president. And when he became president, when he was running for president, he spoke to the uneducated poor white folks and said, well, you can be just like us. Knowing damn well they are not gonna be just like them.
Right.
The poor white folks is not gonna be middle class. They're gonna be,
and that's why
they was just gonna be just like us. And guess what? He baited them and hooked them up, and that was it. That's how he got into office. So the same thing that the state of Mississippi gonna do is gonna say, well, poor white people that stays in the Delta or that stays in northeast Mississippi or that stays close to the coast or South Mississippi, hey, y'all could be just like us. All you got to do is just vote Republican.
And that's really why they doubled down on it's interesting to learn the historical the history of Jim Crow laws. and why they were implemented and why there's such deep divide amongst poor white um, farmers and black people who were sharecroppers. So at one point in time, the poor farmers were on the same level as black people.
Right.
And so, in order to get that divide, they implemented the Jim Crow laws. So now you have uh, poor white people who are like, well, at least I'm superior to the Negroes.
Right. There you go.
So by separating them with their color, by the color of their skin, at least we're superior in something.
Right.
There's not much that you can be superior in because you're poor just like the Negro,
Right.
but at least I'm above them. So Tate Reeves plays into that. Meanwhile, you guys have all your rural hospitals are shutting down. You guys don't have quality care, and then he doesn't want to expand Medicaid. He's taking that money that they stole from TANF recipients. That's money that you guys would have gotten as well.
Right.
But you're so focused on I don't want black people to have that you're not getting anything either.
You're so hell bent on stuff. See, this is why I tell people, of course I told I told you, Mr. Ford, I was a history major.
Right.
So history shows that when it comes down to it, when it comes down to it, you gotta go back to antebellum South, to the antebellum South, to Mississippi in the antebellum period,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we talking about that's where they made most of their money, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how they made most of their money. They made most of their money off the backs of black slaves, right?
Right.
They also made most of their money off of poor white people that were sharecroppers too, just like black people too. Just like that. They made their money off of that. That's how they got their wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, Civil War comes, Reconstruction comes. Reconstruction was hell because like the federal government told the states that left out of that left the union and formed a confederacy. Like, no, you got to get this done. You got to get this done the way we want it. Want it to be done. And they was on the track to do it, but it just stopped. It just stopped. What's going on, Mr. Campbell? It just stopped. So, uh, when you see states like Alabama, Mississippi, you know, Louisiana, Arkansas, uh, when you see states like that just they don't care. They would rather be poor
Mm-hmm.
than to be equal with black people. They will rather be, and it's here in Texas too.
Without a doubt. Don't you have Greg Abbott?
Yeah, Governor Hot Wheels. That's
Yeah.
hard. So, um, it it's like this. Yeah, I stay in the inner city. You know, my 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 grandmother owned her house until
Mm-hmm.
she didn't own it no more because she lost the job. Well, she was forced out of the house. She didn't have enough money to pay the property taxes. See, that's the thing about this, y'all. Black people have power when it comes to owning their house. Once their house, they pay the bills off, when they pay the mortgage off on the house, that house is yours. All you paying is property tax. So that's how you keep up. That's how your schools stay the way how your schools improve. That's how your streets improve. That's how you get garbage off the streets. You know what I'm saying? Every day, um, when they come in and pick the garbage up, that's how your sewage stays. You know what I'm saying? Stays intact. Your water system stays intact. Your property taxes, especially here in Texas, property taxes pay for everything. It pays for everything. Now, when the way you kill off the the city, or let's say for my instance, me being from Oak Cliff, the way you kill off people in Oak Cliff is that black middle class moved to the suburbs, moved to the southern suburbs, like Duncanville, Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Lancaster, Red Oak, or they can move up to the northern suburbs, like um, I would say Coppell, um, uh, Louisville, uh, Lake Dallas, Little Elm, the Colony, Frisco, Allen, McKinney, those, you know what I'm saying, those places. Then that that section that you have, you can't sustain it anymore. You're not gonna be able to sustain it. It's gonna start dying off. You're gonna see, like, you'll start seeing more liquor stores. You start seeing more fast food places popping up. You start seeing more uh things that can kill off a whole race that kill off a whole race that comes into the neighborhood. You have more pawn shops in around your neighborhood, because if you don't got enough money, you gotta take something to get sale to get money for. You know, it's a lot of things that they can do it, that how they can do this. It's just
But
back that
I just think like well, we'll see what happens in the next coming weeks, right?
right.
With regard to Mississippi. I don't know about Texas, but Mississippi has an upcoming election.
Yeah, they got election year. Yeah, I don't know about Texas because we just had our election for our state and local government. Luckily for us, our mayor, who is black, um, born and raised here in Dallas, he's still, he's still our mayor, cool with it. Uh, but our governor, sitting in a wheelchair, uh, thinking about taking away all the good stuff that people will learn about, um, because they want to whitewash history. They don't want history to be learned, the real true history to be learned. Um, you won't be able to get him out of office until all the people in the rural areas of the state of Texas say, "Well, if you ain't doing nothing for us here in the rural areas, I don't see. I wonder what you trying to do for the people that stay in the cities, in the big city."
Mr. Mona, you talked about political science. One of the biggest equalizers is planned boycotts. When it historically shown that when you do those boycotts effectively, change comes.
My only issue is the sector that's disenfranchised is
Right.
not one that is in high regard. So basically, when we had our Black Lives Matter, that was our movement at that time. And that was a time where if people wanted to force change and stuff like that, that was the time to do it. If you wanted funding, that was the time to do it. When it was Black Lives Matter, a lot of it was just performative. Like a lot of it was just companies putting up a post that said "I stand with Black Lives," but not actually making them stand with Black Lives, which means investing in our HBCUs, investing in our communities, or getting equality. They donated their money to some Black Lives Matter nonprofit, and all of that money, only God knows what happened to it because they don't know where the money went. Instead of them actually donating it to uh, HBCUs or, you know, donating it to a reputable cause. All that
Yeah.
money is gone. And now, if you hear people talk about it, they'll just be like, well, what happened to all that money we gave you? So I think for us to evolve, or for us to, um, for Mississippi to move forward, of course, we needed Brett Favre to come forward and try to clear his name. That brought more eyes on the state of Mississippi. And then this bill, I've actually seen a lot of press talking about it, but I need to see a lawsuit, like a federal lawsuit. That's what I need to see from ACLU of Mississippi.
Well, you know,
Otherwise, it's not genuine.
yeah. And I see what you're saying though.
But one thing I want you to always remember, politicians are nothing but puppets to the corporate structure and to the rich families. And that's what you got to do. You got to find out who are the people pulling the strings by, because that, what you call him tater tot, he ain't nothing but a puppet. Find out who's pulling his strings, and that's the people you go after.
Mm.
All right, so let's.
Because a politician is nothing but a puppet. He's a professional liar. He's a mouthpiece.
That is true. Let's move on to the next one. Hey, pull up Grambling schedule. Let's see what Grambling got going on. Because I've been doing breakdowns on schedules and stuff. Want to see Grambling schedule going on. See what they gonna do. See, I'm trying to look at their recruiting class too. 'Cause I actually thought their recruiting class was actually good. I'll see what what they'll do until won't know what they'll do until they get coached right. I get you on that, Dragon. You are right. White flight, white flight didn't hurt the predominant cities as much as middle class black flight.
I mean, we can attribute it to that, but of course, if the government is not fixing the roads, it's systemic. You're not going to stay in a neighborhood where they don't fix the potholes or where you don't have running water. So it's not just it's they're not going to fix it. Imagine they don't fix it, and then as soon as you see black people move out, all of a sudden they're fixing everything. That's how they do it. They buy up abandoned buildings and they let them be abandoned for 20 plus years. They do not condemn them. They don't. There's bills that are in the Mississippi bills that you can look up right now where they've abandoned, or excuse me, where there has been requests to condemn and remove certain buildings in the city of Jackson, and it's been denied time after time. So when we're blaming the black middle class, but at the end of the day, the state and local government is not getting the funding, purposely not getting the funding to fix certain things in the cities. You
True.
can't expect for people who pay taxes to also pay to get their roads paved or the water fixed.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
it's always going to be a a, a long standing fight. So, but I got Rambling's football schedule put up. So I'm about to.
Whew. Is this the last topic of the night?
I think this will be the last topic of the night.
Okay.
All right. So we got Grambling schedule for 2023, and let's see. We got. All right, with me, Mr. Ford.
Mr. Ford about sleep.
I think Mr. Ford sleep. So first game of the season, they're playing Hampton University over at Red Bull Arena. So
That's a biggie.
yeah,
That's going to tell us a lot about the program and the season.
so
That's as big as the OBC.
that is the
As
Brick
big as the OBC.
Yes.
City Classic.
Because let me tell you something. Now, Hampton ain't going to be able to compete in that CAA, but if they was in black college football, they would be dominant. Now, if they come up there and Hampton beats them like they stole something, listen, you got a problem.
True. So Hampton is going to be replacing. Got a lot of pieces to replace though too. So I think Grambling will be able to go into this game right here and come out with a convincing win.
They don't have a choice.
Second game on the list, Louisiana State University, LSU.
Oh my gosh! Why?
That's what I say. That's what I'm so sick of that.
Collect your money and get back to Grambling. That's all.
And don't get anybody hurt.
That's it. Let's see. This third game on this list is Florida Memorial University.
Why? Why? Why?
Well, you gotta have some cupcake on the team.
Why?
On the schedule. You gotta have
Florida Memorial play them. Aren't they SIAC division? What are they?
They SIAC. They in the SIAC.
That's who they need to be playing. Let them play Morehouse, Clark, them schools like that.
Then we got Texas Southern University.
That's a biggie.
So they coming into Grambling.
That's a biggie.
So now the main thing about this game right here is how will Andrew Body be? Because I think I did their schedule the other day, and when I did their schedule, I think the third game that they're playing on their schedule is I think it's Rice.
Okay.
But if Texas Southern comes in, and they could come in on a hot streak.
What kind of hot streak?
Texas Southern. Texas Southern has an actual favorable schedule. The only game that they're going to lose is that Toledo game early in the season.
You said they have a favorable.
And you haven't forgotten the whooping Texas Southern put on Grambling last year, have you?
Yeah, they destroyed Grambling last year.
Listen, Grambling players quit. I watched the game. HBCU go. They quit.
They did quit.
We don't have quitters. That's not. Listen, Hugh is getting ready to take down names, and I really think that he's going to do good in the SWAC. I don't think he plays Jackson. They don't play Jackson State this year, do they?
No, they don't.
They're going to do amazing this year.
Well, the main thing is he's got to let that man, whoever the offense coordinator, let the man work. And I'm telling y'all, Favre is not the answer. He is not the answer.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. In fact, we got to see what he's gonna do.
Blue said,
What did Blue say?
No, he's not. Well, listen, I'm gonna go in on these teams. If he got a cupcake schedule like FAMU, he might have been able to go undefeated.
All right, next game on the
You
list.
heard that, Dr. Lori?
Next game on the list.
Nah, I'm aiming at Mr. Campbell.
Hey.
Next game on the list is the State Fair Classic against Prairie View.
That's a biggie, baby.
That is
and they're going to go in there as an underdog. They're going to be an underdog.
In this game because they done already lost eyes straight to this.
That's what I'm saying, baby. Shoot. I'm looking for Prairie View to be better than they were last year. I'm going to be honest with you.
I said they'll win. I said that they'll be better.
I think they're going to be better.
I think the only loss that Prairie View would have on their schedule. Who was that? Because
they got Fam for Fam's homecoming.
Fam homecoming.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be close too.
So.
Because I'm going to tell you something. If that what his name, Conley, if that boy comes through with them backs they got and all them veterans they got.
Yeah.
Man, listen, Prairie View might be that dog over there in the West, man. Because Conley is a you know, he's a question mark to me.
I mean, he's a question mark, but
Yeah.
I feel like if he gets better with his
Yeah,
passing, it's a whole different story.
Because the wide receivers are there now, right? They've
Yeah,
come in, right?
wide receivers there.
They there. Because that was another weakness they had last year. They couldn't quick strike people offensively with them wide receivers they had.
Right. Next on the list, Grambling goes down to Lorman, Mississippi to play Alcorn.
That's gonna be a biggie, baby.
So
yeah,
Alcorn coming in with their new little toy at quarterback.
Maurice, somebody said, is Maurice Washington returning to Grambling next year?
No, he's
No.
going
For some
pro.
reason,
Believe.
we didn't really cover it. It kind of missed us, but we can do this next weekend. But Maurice Washington is actually playing in the HBCU Legacy Bowl.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't. Yeah.
Gone.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. They got some running backs.
They do.
Grambling has a running back room.
They do.
They need
Yeah.
the whole thing, not just the running back room.
Yeah.
They
Well,
need,
the biggest thing is you gonna let that offensive coordinator work, let him call the plays, and then find the right quarterback.
That is true.
They got the fact, cause see, I'm still hot about that Chance Army. I still think that they didn't do him right. I don't think he was given a fair shake, and I believe that he can lead that team.
Now Alcorn does return Jarvion Howard, who was the leading rusher in the SWAC last season.
He's a dog,
somebody
baby.
said that Mr. Campbell said, I need Hugh to stop being a quarterback whisperer and be a quarterback a quarterback yeller, because he's not screaming loud enough for them to hear. Listen, I have all faith in Hugh that he is going to go above 500 this year. From what I can see, his team is working together collectively. They look like they're doing well with their spring practice.
I'm gonna say this, Blue.
He might be trying to go to the XFL. I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, I say that, Blue. I don't think he's the best place he's going to is the USFL or to Canada.
Or XFL.
The XFL, but they won't start. They already had their draft, so he won't be able to go to the XFL just now. Yeah, either the USFL or the CFL.
Who is this, Maurice?
Maurice.
It was kind of strange too, because he went, he declared for the draft late. I felt like it was kind of like a brash decision where
it was a wrong decision.
Maybe it was kind of like something wasn't going the way he thought it was going to go. And so
Kevin said
he just said, I'm going to declare for the draft. It's like, huh?
Kevin said he probably might got kicked off the team without the team saying that he got kicked off the team. Because they can't, teams do that. They don't say
he's going in with no tape, he didn't dominate. He stayed hurt. He should have stayed at Grambling.
He didn't even, I don't even think he did that much when he was in Nebraska either. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. These kids now, they don't want to dominate. They don't want to pay the price. And I just thought it was wrong of him to leave.
So homecoming is Alabama A&M, October the 14th.
That's gonna be a big game, baby. I done told y'all now.
What you think What you think he's cooking in Alabama?
If he get that new Akil Glass, you better watch him. Because that offense he runs, he has to have a professional type football player at that quarterback position. That's his number one thing in his program. He's got to have an outstanding quarterback. When Cornell Maynard has an outstanding quarterback, he is dangerous.
Maynard couldn't do nothing with us with Akil Glass.
And he does return
he
some.
won the one conference championship with it.
He sure did.
That spring championship.
COVID.
But still, though, it counted, though.
It counted.
It counted.
Listen, if he gets, now he got that kid from the University of Buffalo. Now, from what Blue has been saying, I've been listening to Blue. He said they've been bringing in a new quarterback every week. So if they find that Akil Glass 2.0, y'all better watch Alabama A&M. I'm telling you now.
So yeah, I don't know how this is gonna play out, but um, we'll see. Um, if that defense is Alabama A&M's defense is still the same like it was last season, then I see Grambling winning this game. Not big, but I see them winning this game probably by like at least 7 to 10 points.
Yeah, he did get some quality defensive players in, didn't he?
From what I've heard, he did, but you still got a lot of kids from on that defense from last season that was still terrible.
Yeah, I know some of them kids. I said he got to get rid of them kids.
Yep.
He got to get them guys got to go, man.
Bethune Cookman comes to Grambling. It's Grambling Senior Day.
That's a win. That's a win.
What more can we say
A
about
win is a win.
That's a win.
Is a win.
All right. Now, the Port City Classic, even though this is Alabama State, it's in Montgomery. They turned it to a classic. Now, you always say this about Bama State. QB play. Play is essential. Demetrius Davis is not dynamic as a QB coming up this season, then it will be a loss, a big loss for Bama State especially against Grambling. And I think Grambling is going to has retooled on their defense. So it's a lot of pieces that they have on their defense that actually came back. I know some that's going into the draft, but I'm thinking that Grambling can pull this off. I can see them beating Bama State by 3.
Well, you know how I feel about Bama State. If they ever gets that offense coordinator job together and they get the offense coordination off of the offense correct, listen, Bama State's gonna be dominant. Everything is there.
Who? Bama who?
Bama State.
I can't wait for that game.
But I like Blue said, they got the big time high school coach coming in. Basically to me, if he comes in and takes over that offense, I'm looking for good things from that Alabama State offense. I'm looking for good things from that Davis kid. But if they gonna do that stuff they did last year with that Harry Williams running stuff, listen, they're gonna have another one of them 6-5 seasons, another mediocre season.
Yeah.
I mean, 6-5 is actually pretty good for his first year.
They are better than that, Mr. Mona.
But they're in the East.
Yeah, but let me tell you something.
They need to get a cupcake schedule like FAMU.
Yeah, but let me tell you, the talent they got, they can win 8 to 9 games. They had that kind of talent this year. They just didn't have the coaching. They should win. If if that offense rolls, they can win 8 to 9 games.
So next on the list, November the 11th, Pine Bluff. You go up to Pine Bluff, so
they win. They beat Pine Bluff.
But I want to know what Alonzo Hampton is going to do. Alonzo Hampton, as far as being a coach of Pine Bluff.
I just heard, didn't he make a big hire for offensive coordinator?
I have to see.
Somebody, yeah, it's been met. Somebody, I want to say somebody. Was it somebody from the NFL?
Don't be sleeping on him. He over there working.
Yeah, because I think it was a big hire for offense coordinator.
Let's not sleep on him now. Are they in
I can't remember.
Are they they're in the West or East?
They're in the West.
They're in the West.
Oh, thank God they're in the West.
Like I told Doc, if you're in the West, go to Texas and get your players. Go to Texas.
Mr. Campbell told me to eat the cupcake. Nope, I'll let you do that with Lincoln University and who else they playing?
West Florida.
Who?
West Florida.
West Florida High School.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did. They just hired former IMG Academy head coach Bobby Acosta.
I knew it was somebody. Yeah, I heard it. Can you imagine if he pulled them IMG boys up there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, straight out of high school, they'll be playing. They don't even have to wait. They'll be playing. They don't even have the red shirt.
Yeah. That's a big
Last,
eye.
and last on the list. You already know what last on the list is, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, my
Bayou
man.
Classic. That Bayou Classic.
Yes, baby, that's it, baby.
Didn't they lose last year?
Yeah, listen, they was beating Southern for 3 quarters. Southern defense woke up and then Grambling panicked and gave them the game. But for 3 quarters, Grambling was beating Southern at the Bayou Classic.
So this is the same Southern that had 2 eggs last season.
Yeah, this is the same
They was
Southern with Mr. Eric
laying
Dooley.
eggs like it was Easter Sunday.
Yeah, Mr. Eric
Mr.
Dooley.
Moore, they was laying eggs like it was Easter Sunday, but they still beat Grambling.
Yes, they did.
This Blue said West Florida could have won a SWAC a few years ago, but Lincoln would lose to most 1A high school teams in Texas.
Mr. Campbell got he's got a
Is this your prediction?
prediction. The one must be Jackson State. The one must be Jackson State. Because you're not winning the OBC. Don't put all. Did you ever hear the saying? Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yes, we did, baby.
Damn, you done put all their eggs in one basket in Miami, Florida.
Yes, they have.
Their first game of the season. They done
First
put
game of the
all
season.
of
That's
it
why I
in.
hate it.
Oh Lord! You said get. Mr. Campbell said get that. I told me to
They
get the
didn't
hash
save
ready,
no
get the hash
turkey
printed.
for
All right.
trick-or-treating. They didn't save no turkey for Thanksgiving. They didn't save it for the first day of school, the second day. They just put all their eggs in one basket.
All I know is
Hey,
He
is
said
Mr. Campbell, is this the
North
best
Carolina.
team that Willie Simmons will have this year? Is this the best team he'll have since he's been there? Because I know they got a lot of depth. I've been talking to y'all people up in Atlanta. They say that y'all didn't lose nothing and nobody's going to be missed. And y'all got
Where, at
players on
Southern?
top of players.
At Southern?
No, this is at FAM. They saying that they got players on top of players at
They did
FAMU now.
lose. They lost Isaiah Land.
But they saying they're not going to miss him.
Mr.
Damn.
Campbell. I'm not worried about us playing Delta State. It doesn't matter to me.
Nobody's playing Delta State this year.
Valley.
No, but
Oh,
they
Valley's
would have
playing.
got
Yeah,
more
okay.
respect playing Delta State than West Florida.
Yeah, I'm just asking Mr. Campbell, is this 23 FAMU team, football team, is this the best team that Willie Simmons has had? I mean, from a athletic standpoint.
No.
What does he say?
Oh.
What did he say, Doc?
Okay, so the thing that they have that they're saying that they have is Musa. Musa is very average to me, and that ain't even on no hating. Like, I think Musa.
What you talking about? You just think he's a thrower? What you saying? He's not multi. What he's not a runner?
Maybe it's because I got so spoiled with Shador and his pre-snap reads and
right.
You know,
yeah, I like his push.
Like maybe I just got, and then the way I saw Musa play at a deer in headlights. I hope that FAMU, while everybody was talking about Jackson State and our offensive line, I hope that FAMU got an offensive line because it was just
they do. They do.
Pretty.
They offensive line came together when they took that freshman out of the center position, put that Lee kid in. That offensive line at FAMU those last games, they did come together. They came together.
Campbell's over here hating, but we got 3 and we got 4. We got 4 good quarterbacks.
Yeah,
4.
You do.
Well, we don't know who our QB will be, but hey.
And Musa didn't win against the Florida Gators, sir.
You said what? Wait a minute. What is that about the Florida Gators?
Jason Brown. If you watch his film for against was it Florida?
Yeah, it was Florida.
They beat Florida.
Oh yeah.
Jason Brown at the helm.
So this was when he's at South Carolina. Was this at South Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he. So let's not act like Mr. Brown is a slouch now.
No, he's not. He's not. He can throw that foot. I've been reading the stuff the players been saying. They said he's a leader.
Yeah, it just seems like he was playing back up to Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
That's who he's playing
Yeah.
backup to. So he said, "Let me go down here and get this starting job."
Pretty much.
Yeah. How many years eligibility does he have?
They got 2 years left.
Whoa.
No, he
Whoa.
does not. He has. This is his last year.
This is last year? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he on his 6th year.
Oh, he's sick. Oh.
Maybe he read short.
Well, that was some guy had 7 years, right?
Mr. Campbell, if
Oh,
any
Lindsay,
of our
they had
quarterbacks
7 years.
went into
Yeah.
the portal, FAMU would try to snatch him up. So stop it.
What did he say about that question I asked him? Is this the best team potentially that Willie Simmons has ever had?
Yeah, he said it was it is the best team.
That's what I thought, because they saying now they got players on top. I know the defense is supposed to be loaded. The offensive line got players, they got kids who got hurt. They coming back. Then they got the kids, because really all they losing is COVID. That right tackle, from what I hear, he ain't going to be missed.
Yeah.
They got 3 quality tight ends. They got wide receivers.
All I'm gonna say is the people that was giving FAMU the business last year, 98, 99, 97, 98, 99, they back. Devontae Davis, Boosie, that's Humphrey, and Jeremiah Williams. They was playing at that FAMU giving them the biz.
Now tell me, who is Jeremiah Williams? What's the number?
99.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. 99. Yeah, I remember him.
All
Yeah, I
of them
remember him.
are still
I remember
at
him.
Jackson State.
Oh, yeah,
So
he was
when they
tough.
talk
I
about
remember him.
Hootie Doos and whatnot, that D-line ain't no joke.
No, they not. That D-line is, you're right. I remember them guys now. I use Mr. Moon, I also say numbers. You have to give me numbers. Tell me
Mr.
their numbers.
Campbell is saying the person who gave us the business was Shador, but you guys only scored 3 points. So obviously,
It was Jackson's best game of the year. It was Jackson's best game.
He said the person who gave us the business was Shador. Shador gave you the business that game, but it was the defense that made sure you didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah, it was the best effort of the whole year to me.
I think they they never scored a touchdown against Jackson State in the last 2 years? They ain't scored.
It's the worst whooping that was put on FAMU by a historically black college or university. FAM has never been beaten by a black school like that before.
Ooh, that's right. True Thompson's back. He was hurt last year.
Yeah, he's that boy can play.
He's back.
He's from Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking to repeat with regard to our defense. We're looking to repeat being number 1 in the FCS. And a lot of people are saying that, we've lost a lot of talent, but you have to realize Travis Hunter didn't even play.
Yeah, until homecoming, wasn't it? When did he play?
And Gaddy was playing in that game.
Yeah, Gaddy came and played in the game.
This game was FAMU.
Yeah, that might have been his best game.
His best game was against Tennessee State.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he was dominant Tennessee State.
His best game was Tennessee State. Yeah. He's supposed to have 5 sacks. They only credit him with 3.5.
Right.
But, man, thank y'all. Ooh, that's a good show tonight, y'all. This is a good show. It was a good show tonight. We talked about a lot of things. Had people come in. Dr. Lori, thank you for coming on to the show.
Yes.
We talked about.
She kind of repeated the sentiments of Mr. Campbell.
She did.
They're Rattlers, you know that?
Or nothing.
They're Rattlers.
So, yeah. All the Rattlers in the house.
All the Rattlers in the house, baby.
The Jaguars. Jaguars in the house. Got some Braves. Got some.
Listen, Doc, when I was growing up, FAMU had a rule. If you lost to Albany State of Fort Valley, you got fired. If FAMU lost to them, the coach got fired after the game.
Wow.
They didn't play that now. They would come up here to Georgia and they would beat these Georgia black Georgia schools like a drum.
Do you think that if Mr. Simmons loses the OBC, he's getting fired next year?
No.
Nah, he ain't getting fired.
No.
But he
Let me
gonna
tell you something.
they're not gonna be landing on OBC.
Let me tell you something about FAMU. When they fire a good coach, it takes them 10 to 15 years to get another good coach.
Damn.
That Simmons man ain't going, Willie Simmons ain't going nowhere. Willie Simmons was the answer to their prayer. Let me tell you something. They got rid of Billy Joe in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
From 2004 till Willie Simmons showed up, I think in 16 or 17.
Yep.
Them years in between was chaos and confusion. That was Reuben Carter. That was Joe Taylor. That was Earl Holmes. That was the boy that's Dion's friend. He came in for a minute. He was a corner.
Corey Fuller.
And then they had the last one, Alex Woods. All that was just chaos and confusion. But the main thing was it was over 10 years. So Willie Simmons, they got a great coach. He ain't going nowhere.
Right. They gonna be in a until you do right by me, everything
Yeah,
you see
because
gonna
fam, you can't get see they don't
That's
no
what
man.
happened to Jackson State.
Yeah, that's right. When that lady did in Commages, look how long it took y'all to get a good coach.
Thank God Dion saved us. He
Yeah.
pulled us out. I'll give him that. You pulled
Yeah.
us out from that rut, and we not going back no time soon.
Because y'all had you had
James Bell.
Harold Jackson. Wait a minute, remember Harold Jackson?
Yeah, we started with James Bell.
James Bell, that was a disaster.
Oh,
We started with James Bell. Then they fired him. They brought Comage in.
Commages in. He did his thing. Then you
how
got
was he
Harold
fired?
Jackson. Don't forget that Tony Hughes or
Tony Hughes.
Tony Hughes was a disaster.
Terrible.
And then they got the 1 year from the big defensive coordinator, John Hendricks.
Which I wouldn't say it would have been a disaster, but it would have been, we wouldn't know what he would have done.
Yeah.
How he would have been for a whole season.
Yeah. Well, he did one season, right? Season and a half.
He did a season and a half because he
that's right.
Came in and filled in for Tony Hughes.
That's right. They got rid of Tony during the season and Hendricks came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Hendricks came in, but the team was undisciplined, and so John Hendricks was supposed to still be the head coach. They brought in TC Taylor to be the offensive coordinator.
Right.
And basically Ashley came in and just blew all that up, but he's kept TC on the staff and Coach O on the staff, and then Dion, and Dion did what he supposed to do.
That's why he the best athletic director in black college football.
Yeah,
he has a vision.
Somebody said you can't. That as much stuff as Southern fans talk, they only talk about it while they're winning. But FAMU steadily be talking cash money BS and can't beat Jackson State in nothing. Can't even fry an egg better than JSU.
Miss Kelman, you heard that? You heard that, Mr. Kelman?
Oh my goodness, that was funny. I am so sorry. I be getting in on FAMU, but you know what? That's how it is when you winning.
I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna like Mr. Ford. I'm gonna tell you when Jackson State kind of started sliding down for a second. When Big Daddy passed away.
Yeah.
And Judge became the head coach. Now Judge wasn't as bad, but it was vanilla, especially with the actual play calling. The defense wasn't playing all that great.
I was about to say that defense. What's the name? He gave Kelly the defense, and that was awful.
John Shannon was still the offensive coordinator, so the offense was still clicking. The defense was still playing up. They weren't playing up to snuff.
Sure wasn't, because I remember Kelly's defense coordinator.
So 3 straight 7-4 seasons, and then I think we had a bad season. They fired Judge, and then that's when they brought James Bell in.
And that was a disaster.
It was a total disaster.
He was a disaster. I remember them days.
And when Zoe told me that James Bell wanted to get rid of all the history of Jackson State, Like
And he didn't he get rid of the films or something?
he got rid of some films, pictures. I was like, you know what?
Damn, that was some hating. That was some hating stuff right there.
And listen, that's why you got to blame Mason, because Mason, all that mess happened under Mason.
It happened under Mason.
So that's what I'm saying. We need to go back and look at the Mason tenure.
So when it's all said and done, that's kind of when we kind of started slacking, and some of the players will tell you that too. Like Sylvester Morris, he'll tell you that. Even Lawrence Story, when he comes on here, you'll ask him a question how it went when the Jackson State football started tailing off. He'll tell you it started tailing off after they got judged, and when Coach Carson retired, but he passed away like a couple of months later.
Right.
And then, Judge was the interim coach. They gave him an interim title first.
Right.
And they wanted to see what he would do for the season. And that was in 2000. And then 2001, it was like, okay, you 7-4, and then you had another 7-4 season, and the bottom just went straight out.
Yeah.
We couldn't recover from that.
Yeah.
And then James Bell did mess up Robert Kent's Superman.
He sure did. I remember that.
His draft stop, because Superman could have his mechanics was funky, but his throwing mechanics was funky, but you could have had looked past that. You could have tweaked it a little bit, but the way that they were running that offense with him, no, it was like looking at him was like looking at a car wreck.
Yeah, and Shannon left and went to Troy State. That hurt him too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, history is great, but we don't want to revisit them years.
No, don't.
When Shannon was the offensive coordinator, you looked at Shannon, the offensive coordinator. Shannon had he used to run out of spread. He could run out of the QB was under the center.
Yeah,
they ran. Yeah. They could run option. They were running ISO. They was running power plays. Jackson State offense was evenly. It was evenly matched.
Yeah,
like I'm saying, offense, passing offense, rush offense. Like, and the crazy thing is he only trusted like one or two running backs. Destry was the main one that he trusted, and he ran for like 1,600 yards his senior year.
Yeah, I remember Destry. Yeah. Now, where did he go pro? What he go to Steelers?
He went to the Steelers, but his knee was messed up.
I remember him.
But yeah, everybody, it was nice knowing everybody.
Oh yeah.
No, but I like everybody for coming on here, talking about SWAC history, talking about the battle for the city of Jackson, all the other news that's going on right now. My Mavs playing right now, so Luka is balling with Kyrie playing the point. And
what's the score of the game?
Let me see. Luka didn't play last night. Kyrie had 24 last night.
Okay.
Yeah,
25 to 123. It's an overtime.
I'm gonna go ahead and bow out. Thank you, Mr. Ford. As always.
Listen, I'm falling behind you, Mr. Mona. I'm right behind you.
Mr. Ford. You
right
know,
behind everybody else.
Go all night. It's Saturday night.
I have to go to work because tomorrow's Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm trying to be in job, so I'll be off early so I can watch Super Bowl.
Somebody said Robert Kent still plays and starts in the Arena League now at the age of 40. I don't know if that's true or not. Is he still playing at 40?
I don't know. Never know.
But anyway, thank you all for coming to our show. Please like the stream. And if you're on Doc's show and you haven't subscribe to my channel, and then vice versa. If you're on my platform and you're not subscribed to HBCU Overdrive, make sure that you like and subscribe to the wonderful Doc Holliday. Thank Mr. Ford for coming on. And of course, we had the Dr. Lori in the house. Oh, yeah. Thank her for coming on as well. That was great. We'll see y'all next Saturday.
Y'all next Saturday, next Saturday, next Saturday. Hey y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what we do. Y'all be blessed. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay dangerous out there. Peace out.